Li Mei's Sword of Destiny. Chapter 1074. At the God Hand Mountain Manor, the people outside were still waiting. The Immortal Foundation characters of the Immortal Realms were all experts who had cultivated for many years. They naturally had patience. Although several months have passed, they weren't anxious at all. One could only say that this ancient mountain was extremely mysterious. In addition, the people from the Jiang clan, Ying clan and Namhuang clan didn't have any intense reactions. This indicated that the important characters were still alive and hadn't died yet. They grew more and more curious. What secrets were there in the ancient mountain exactly? Was Emperor Yu really unable to enter? Emperor Yu was the protector of ancient Emperor Yi's inheritance. How could he not be able to enter? Although they were suspicious after witnessing the battle between Emperor Yu and the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, no one dared to act recklessly and disrespect Emperor Yu. Strength won respect. Here, other than Zidi, who was a peak-stage immortal emperor, the other immortal emperors weren't. No one dared to say that they could win for sure against Emperor Yu. Although the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor quietened down a little, the killing intent in his heart didn't dissipate at all. He hated Dongsheng Ting even more than the Violet Emperor. The Violet Emperor only died because of his nephew, while the one he killed was his youngest son. Dongsheng Ting was someone he had with a concubine. Because his other sons were already very powerful, other than fighting their own battles, he doted on Dongsheng Ting a lot. Now that Dongsheng Ting was killed in the ancient mountains, how could the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor not be enraged? Emperor Yu, I wish to consult you. In this ancient mountain, could it be that only the person who cultivated God's hand before would have a chance to obtain the complete inheritance? The Immortal Emperor from the Jiang clan asked. If not, why would Immortal Foundation characters be the most suitable to enter the ancient mountain? Sir, you are thinking too much. Although Ancient Emperor Yi left behind an inheritance in the city of ancient emperors, I have no idea when it would appear. What if that brat you speak of didn't come here at the Immortal Foundation realm but at the Immortal King realm instead? Emperor Yu calmly spoke. Everything is fair, including everyone here. Everyone has a chance to obtain the ultimate art of Ancient Emperor Yi. The reason why none of you can enter is because your cultivation base has already reached a certain level, where you can no longer tolerate the divine essence of God's hand. Hence, none of you can enter. In that case, the possibility of him cultivating God's hand is still higher. An immortal emperor from the Ying clan asked. What do you think? Emperor Yu laughed. The immortal emperors of the Ying clan didn't say anything. Wasn't this nonsense? Before this, Qin Wentian had already cultivated God's hand before. The possibility of him succeeding would naturally be higher. The people outside were all waiting. Inside the immortal palaces in the ancient mountain, the experts of the major powers were also waiting. Qin Wentian walked step by step into the pattern, as though he wanted to become one with it. The others had also tried, but other than Qin Wentian, no one could get close. They would all be injured by the vibrations. Now, it seemed that they could only wait for Qin Wentian to finish his cultivation. How slow is he? Yingting unhappily glanced at Qin Wentian. It has already been several months since they entered the ancient mountain, and he has been waiting for Qin Wentian for a very long time. However, he still hasn't finished his cultivation. In addition, there were some changes happening to Qin Wentian that made him feel a little jealous. Qin Wentian's aura surged even more intensely. The immortal light circulating around him made everyone feel that the physique of Qin Wentian, right now, was extremely perfect. Such an immortal physique was definitely something that Immortal Foundation experts could only dream of. For this trip to the ancient mountain, all of them were like accompanying guests. Given Yingting's prideful personality, how could he be willing to accept this? In the Ying clan which ruled the Ying clan, there weren't many in the same generation that could make him a side character. Many more days passed. Qin Wentian's body was still undergoing transformations. However, as time passed, the transformations grew smaller and smaller. He no longer tried to resist the power of the divine charm, but chose to enjoy the baptism of this energy. Right now, he seemed to have fused as one with that marvelous body of his. That surge of energy unceasingly cleansed him. Countless runic inscriptions and endless transformations flowed into his sea of consciousness, evolving within his body. This kind of transformation was gradually slowing down, but it was still progressing towards maturity. Many people were already impatient from waiting and wanted to interrupt Qin Wentian. However, Yingting stopped them. Since they had already waited for so long, he didn't mind waiting a little longer. He planned to interrupt Qin Wentian. Even if they could really interrupt Qin Wentian, if they did so, who would be the one to open the bronze gates? If they had no way to obtain the treasures of ancient Emperor Yi, they would have made a wasted trip here. He would rather wait for Qin Wentian to finish. Luckily, this day finally arrived. Qin Wentian finally stopped. He opened his eyes, which shone even more resplendently than before. However, when Qin Wentian landed on the ground, many experts instantly surrounded him, causing his eyes to turn heavy as a cold light gleamed in them. Yingting stepped forward, arriving before Qin Wentian as he spoke. After waiting for so long, you should have already mastered the ultimate art of ancient Emperor Yi, God's hand, right? Senior brother, this fellow wants to use you to open the bronze gates and obtain the treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi. They have already joined forces. Jun Mengchen spoke to Qin Wentian. I didn't say that. I've already waited for you for so long. Now it's time for me to do something. Go and open the bronze gates. Yingting stared at Qin Wentian, glancing at the experts gathered here. The people from the Ying clan, the descendants of the immortal realms, as well as the people from the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi's group. With such a lineup, even if the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qianbian sect joined forces, they wouldn't be able to contend against them. Seems like although these people couldn't comprehend the ultimate art, they might as well give up. The only thing they wanted was the treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi. Didn't you hear my words? Yingting saw that Qin Wentian didn't reply. His tone grew even more domineering. After that, several experts behind him stepped out. Qin Wentian. At this moment, Jiang Ziyu, who was at the back, spoke. Qin Wentian, as long as you agree to follow me to the Jiang clan, I will lend you a helping hand. Jiang Ziyu. Yingting's eyes were as cold as ice. He turned over as cold qi gushed forth. It's fine if you don't want to join forces with me, but you actually dared to undermine me? Do I know you? Jiang Ziyu swept his gaze over to Yingting as he impolitely spoke. As one of the 3 strongest ancient clans in the southern regions, how would the people of the Jiang clan be afraid of the Ying clan? Very good. Yingting's eyes gleamed with coldness. Qin Wentian stared at Jiang Ziyu. This person kept inviting him to the Jiang clan. His intentions were unclear. However, the hearts of humans were sinister. Jiang Ziyu was extremely shrewd and wouldn't do useless things. If he invited Qin Wentian to the Jiang clan, it would definitely be beneficial to him or the Jiang clan. To him, this wasn't a good thing. Once he entered the Jiang clan, he would be slaughtered by others. Even if the Namhuang clan wanted to help him, it would be useless. He naturally wouldn't agree to Jiang Ziyu's request. But if he didn't agree to Jiang Ziyu's request, he would be at a disadvantage if he relied on the strength of the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qianbian gate. Qin Wentian turned and walked towards the bronze gates. Over here, there were 3 gigantic bronze gates that exuded an unfathomable aura. Nobody knew what was behind them, but they guessed that they were the treasures of ancient Emperor Yi. In front of the bronze gates, there were terrifying greater demons standing guard. Senior. Qin Wentian walked to the front of a greater demon and called out respectfully. This greater demon was actually an ancient demonic beast, the Kuei Ox. It exuded a ferocious aura, and when it opened its eyes, it was extremely terrifying. Speak. The Kuei Ox spoke. Junior has obtained the inheritance of ancient Emperor Yi's God's hand. Do the treasures behind the bronze gates belong to Junior? Qin Wentian bluntly asked. First, you have to open the gates. The Kuei Ox's voice was extremely loud, like a great bell. Since Junior has obtained the inheritance, can Senior act on my behalf and kill some people? Qin Wentian asked again. Upon hearing his words, the gazes of everyone froze. Even Yingting was so shocked that his entire body turned cold. These 3 greater demons were guarding the bronze gates and didn't even bother with their arrival. They didn't even care about the inheritance. They shouldn't act against them, right? But when they heard Qin Wentian's words, they still felt their backs turning cold. This bastard. You don't have the qualifications to give me orders now. The Kuei Ox coldly spoke. Qin Wentian wasn't disappointed. His eyes gleamed with excitement. He didn't have the qualifications now? In that case, there would be such a possibility in the future? In that case, what must I do to make Senior help me? Qin Wentian politely asked. Behind him, Yingting and the others walked over, their eyes flashing with killing intent. I told you to open the bronze gates, not to chat. Yingting transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. After you open these gates, you will know. The Kueox calmly spoke, its tone was emotionless. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Bronze gates again. Seems like these 3 bronze gates were the key. Could there really be treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi within? Each of these 3 bronze gates was more complicated than the previous. The diagrams on them were truly all-encompassing, mysterious and unfathomable, as though they contained the truths of the great Tao. Only one of them could he understand a little bit. As for the other 2, he could only see nothing but chaos at first glance. Qin Wentian moved his feet and walked to the bronze gate that he could understand a little bit. He asked Senior, can you tell me what's inside? There was no reply. The greater demons had all closed their eyes, completely ignoring him. This caused Qin Wentian to feel somewhat depressed. No matter what, he had obtained the inheritance of ancient Emperor Yi, yet the greater demons didn't give him any face at all. Qin Wentian, you better hurry up. My patience is limited. Yingting couldn't help but threaten when he saw Qin Wentian completely ignoring his words. Qin Wentian turned his head and glanced at Yingting, only to see the experts of the Namhuang clan and Immortal Qianbian Gate surrounding them. He stared at Jun Mengchen and Purgatory as he spoke. These 2 are your friends, right? If you continue wasting time, don't blame me for being impolite. Fine, I will do my best. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. His gaze landed on the bronze gate as he stared at it intently. The diagram on the bronze gate seemed to be evolving on its own, encompassing everything. Numerous runic inscriptions flowed through his sea of consciousness. This diagram should be the key to opening the bronze gate. The energy in his body circulated as the immortal energy around his immortal foundation flowed, transforming into a diagram of 10,000 laws that flowed unceasingly, containing a myriad of transformations. After that, Qin Wentian closed his eyes as everything was imprinted into his mind. The people behind stared at Qin Wentian and the bronze gate. If the bronze gate was opened, would the treasures of ancient Emperor Yi really be able to be hidden within? Would the so-called alliance of Yingting and the others still be able to be maintained? Chapter 1075. Yingting and the others stared nervously at Qin Wentian. No one knew what was behind the bronze gate, but they all understood that once the gate was opened, various situations might occur. Qin Wentian tried to place his palm on the bronze gate several times but failed every time. Although the bronze gate glowed with resplendent immortal light, he still wasn't able to open it. In the blink of an eye, several days passed, causing Yingting and the others to feel somewhat impatient. They even threatened Qin Wentian several times, but Qin Wentian pretended not to hear them and ignored their words. Today, Qin Wentian opened his eyes. Immortal light gushed forth from his body as a divine glow circulated around him. His palm shone with a dazzling immortal light, and with a wave of his hand, a palm imprint shot out towards the bronze gate. A gigantic palm imprint directly imprinted itself onto the diagram of the bronze gate. At this instant, countless runic inscriptions on the diagram of the bronze gate started to flow as a line of runic inscriptions appeared in the middle of the diagram. A powerful beam of light shot out and a crack finally appeared on the bronze gate. After that, the bronze gate opened to both sides. Boom! At this instant, terrifying immortal might gushed forth from everyone as they walked out, rushing towards the bronze gate. Namhuang Yunxi, Jun Mengchen and the others walked to the side of Qin Wentian only to see Qin Wentian speaking. Let's enter. They lifted their feet and stepped in as well. Within the bronze gate there was a passageway. On the left and right of the passageway, there were numerous armored figures that resembled immortal weapons. Yet at the same time they resembled humans. These are immortal puppets. Yingting and the others glanced to their left and right. Those armored figures were all immortal-ranked puppets. They were extremely perfect, resembling perfect immortal weapons that could completely fuse with the human body. They instantly rushed forward, wanting to seize the immortal puppets for themselves. However, they discovered that these immortal puppets didn't move at all. Behind him, a rumbling sound could be heard as the bronze gate closed on its own. It was exactly the same as the other side. Qin Wentian stared at these human-shaped puppets. They were simply too perfect. Such immortal-ranked puppets required an extremely high level of craftsmanship. Also, there was a palm imprint on each of their chests. At this instant, Qin Wentian understood that in this place, only he could control these puppets. With a flash, Qin Wentian arrived before one of the puppets. However, someone had already appeared there. The person stretched his hand out to touch the puppet, wanting to keep it, but was unable to do so. "Get lost." One of them shouted cold when he saw Qin Wentian coming over. Qin Wentian instantly radiated a tyrannical immortal might as rumbling sounds rang out from his body. His palm transformed into a sword as he slashed out with the speed of lightning. The distance between the two of them was too close. That expert's countenance drastically changed as he retreated. But given such a close distance, how could he evade Qin Wentian's sudden attack? That thunderous sword light transformed into a sword light that could kill. With a poochie sound, that expert clutched his throat with both hands as he stared fixedly at Qin Wentian. He wanted to speak, but only muffled sounds could be heard. Qin Wentian punched out, slamming into that expert. The terrifying might of that expert shattered his immortal foundation and sent him flying through the air. Qin Wentian's countenance was cold to the extreme. Did they really think that by forming an alliance they would be able to command him, Qin Wentian, from a lofty position? How ridiculous! Numerous powerful auras gushed over. The experts from one of the major powers all stared at Qin Wentian as killing intent gushed forth. Yingting and the others also moved over, their gazes cold. The experts from the Namhuang clan and Dongshengshan Gate instantly gathered before Qin Wentian, protecting Qin Wentian. "Give me a way out." Qin Wentian spoke, pushing aside the two figures before him as he stared at Yingting and the others who were walking over. "You want to rebel?" Yingting's eyes gleamed with coldness. "You are truly shameless. Do you want to fight?" Qin Wentian spoke. "Ridiculous." Yingting waved his hands as the experts moved, surrounding Qin Wentian and the others. "Alliance." Qin Wentian smiled mockingly as he pointed to the bronze gate. "Whoever dares to stand on Yingting's side, I guarantee that they won't be able to walk out of that bronze gate. Other than me, no one can open this gate. Since you all want to follow Yingting to deal with me, then let Yingting bring you out." The expressions of everyone stiffened as they glanced at the closed bronze gate. The back of the gate was exactly the same as the front. This gate could only be opened by Qin Wentian alone. "Do you all really want to try? If you still don't retreat, I will do what I said." Qin Wentian shouted. Instantly, some people retreated, followed by many others. This caused Yingting's expression to darken, his gaze exceptionally unsightly. "Do you really think that you are so mighty?" Qin Wentian stared at Yingting and asked, "Who do you think you are?" As he spoke, he ignored Yingting and walked towards the puppet. His palms pressed down on the insignia on the chest of the puppet armor. A moment later, a beam of light flashed as the puppet armor automatically opened up. Qin Wentian walked into it and the puppet armor closed up, enveloping his body bit by bit. It was actually able to adjust the degree of relaxation and fit perfectly with Qin Wentian's body. Qin Wentian seemed to have donned a full set of armor. Qin Wentian released the might of his immortal foundation. In an instant, the puppet armor seemed to be activated, radiating resplendent immortal light. Its might was many times stronger compared to Qin Wentian's cultivation base. Qin Wentian took a step out, moving towards Yingting. Before Yingting, several experts from the Ying clan appeared, staring at Qin Wentian with wariness in their eyes. Rumble! A terrifying might gushed forth from the puppet's palms, transforming into a bright light. The people around Qin Wentian all retreated, after which, Qin Wentian blasted out with a palm strike, manifesting a god's hand that exuded a terrifying might that could wipe out everything. The experts before Yingting attacked at the same time. Two gigantic beasts appeared, resembling demonic pythons. Rumbling sounds rang out as destructive energy gushed forth. Yingting's body was enveloped by the experts of the Ying clan. The experts from the Ying clan all stared coldly at Qin Wentian. "Everyone, there's no need to be so nervous. I'm only testing out the might of the puppet armor. It doesn't seem to be too bad." Qin Wentian smiled. The experts from the Ying clan frowned. The puppet armor Qin Wentian wore was extremely powerful, and had terrifying offensive capabilities. By borrowing the power of the puppet, Qin Wentian's combat prowess rose to the peak level of Immortal Foundation. From this, one could see how powerful this puppet was. "You are very arrogant." Yingting stared at Qin Wentian. "Same here," Qin Wentian replied. He walked towards the other puppets and opened them up. After that, he turned to Nam Huang Yunxi and Jun Mengchen as he spoke. "Enter the puppets, they will be able to control them easily." These puppets were forged to perfection. As long as one used God's hand to open them up, there was basically no need for them to control the puppets. They only needed to circulate their immortal energy, and they would be able to control the puppets. Nam Huang Yunxi, Jun Mengchen, Nanfeng Shunga and Purgatory were preparing to enter the puppets when Yingting spoke. "Stop them." The countenances of the people in the surroundings were all unsightly to behold. If Qin Wentian used these puppets to send his subordinates with lower cultivation bases into the puppets and control them, the strength of their side would instantly reach a level where no one could suppress them. "Those who don't wish to go out can give it a try," Qin Wentian coldly spoke, causing many people to shrink back. As for Nam Huang Yunxi, Nanfeng Shunga and the others, they all entered the puppets. After they entered, the puppets could instantly move, perfectly attuning themselves to their bodies. They walked to the side of Qin Wentian, giving off an immense pressure. Qin Wentian and Jun Mengchen walked past the crowd. Everywhere they passed by, those who were in the puppets would all open up a path for them. Every time Qin Wentian opened up a puppet, he would allow people from the Nam Huang clan or the Immortal Champion Gate to enter. This caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Was this Qin Wentian planning to occupy all the puppets? Finally, the people from the Nam Huang clan and the Immortal Champion Gate were all donned in their puppets. Qin Wentian's gaze landed on Yingting. Through the coldness of the puppets, Yingting could sense the coldness in Qin Wentian's eyes. "For those who have nothing to do with this, disperse," Qin Wentian spoke. After that, those who weren't part of the Ying clan all retreated, allowing the people from the Ying clan to enter. "Sir, what do you want to do?" an expert from the Ying clan asked. "You guys deal with the people from the Ying clan. Leave Yingting to me," Qin Wentian spoke. In this case, the experts on his side would have the absolute advantage. Also, they were all wearing puppets. It would be extremely difficult for them to injure them. Even those from the Dongshangshan Gate and Zidi's followers who wanted to kill Qin Wentian all retreated at this moment. "The Ying clan, do you guys really dare to act?" A cold voice rang out. "Do it," Qin Wentian impolitely commanded. The experts of the Ying clan and Qin Wentian brought their puppets and directly rushed into the midst of the Ying clan. They lifted their palms and blasted out ferociously. The people from the Ying clan frenziedly defended, instantly causing the entire space to tremble violently. Those who had nothing to do with this hurriedly retreated far away to avoid being affected. The battle instantly erupted. Qin Wentian and the others were clad in puppets and even used their palms to slash apart divine weapons. They were like tigers that had entered a pack of wolves, instantly forcing the people from the Ying clan into a corner. What powerful puppets! Everyone was shocked. Even divine weapons were useless against them. The attacks of Qin Wentian and the others were like the hands of God, swiftly injuring a large number of people as they killed their way to Yingting's side. Yingting was forced to retreat repeatedly. He was clad in armor and wielded an immortal-ranked weapon in his hands. However, the power he could unleash was limited. "You dare!" Seeing Qin Wentian walking over, Yingting roared. Boom! A gigantic palm imprint slammed towards Yingting. With a thunderous boom, Yingting was directly slammed into the ground by the terrifying might. It was useless even if he borrowed the power of his immortal-ranked weapon to block it. Bang! Qin Wentian directly kicked Yingting, sending him flying through the air. Yingting screamed miserably as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. "I want to kill you!" Yingting howled in rage. There were people who wanted to help him, yet they were all blocked. Qin Wentian descended once more, stomping down with his foot, causing a thunderous boom to ring out. Everyone could even feel the tremors from the impact, as they silently wiped the sweat off their faces for Yingting. This Qin Wentian was truly daring. Chapter 1076. Yingting was trampled by Qin Wentian. He only felt that his dignity had been completely lost. His eyes spat fire, and just when he was about to erupt forth with his immortal foundation, Qin Wentian directly stomped down, injuring his body, causing him to have no way to condense immortal energy to attack. He could only lie on the ground, allowing Qin Wentian to trample on him. Qin Wentian, I, Yingting, swear that I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. How arrogant was Yingting! He was a heaven chosen of the Ying clan and had a lofty status. When had he ever suffered such humiliation before? Boom! Another heavy stomp landed. Yingtung felt that his internal organs were about to shatter, but he wasn't on the verge of death. His immortal sense couldn't be activated either. Qin Wentian's control of his strength was extremely good. Continue to be arrogant. Qin Wentian's countenance was like ice. Yingting wanted to play him in the palm of his hands, becoming a tool to open the treasure trove. He even used the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qinbian Gate to threaten him. In that case, he would teach Yingting a lesson on how to respect others. If you have the guts, kill me, Yingting roared. Qin Wentian's actions caused him more pain than death. It's too troublesome to kill you. The experts of your Ying clan would hunt me down again. After killing the young, the old would come. This is the style of your clan. My cultivation base is so low, why would I clash with the Ying clan? Qin Wentian laughed, his words causing the experts of the Ying clan to heave a sigh of relief. As expected, Qin Wentian wouldn't dare to kill Yingting. However, I have a lot of time. Killing you is too troublesome, but if I slowly torture you, the Ying clan wouldn't dare to hunt me down just because you lost to your peers in the outside world, right? Qin Wentian suddenly changed the topic and his lips curled into an evil smile. After all, when a heaven's favorite gets hurt or suffers some setbacks, it is also the motivation to move forward. As he spoke, Qin Wentian stomped down again. With a rumbling sound, the hearts of the crowd throbbed. Yingting let out a blood-curdling scream. The crowd seemed to be able to feel Yingting's pain at this moment. They were afraid that they couldn't wait to tear Qin Wentian into pieces. But what he said wasn't wrong. Yingting was injured outside and met with some setbacks. It was impossible for the Ying clan to stand up for Yingting with great fanfare. Being humiliated like this, Yingting wouldn't have the face to return to the clan and say it out loud. Should he ask the elders for help? In that case, he might not be able to establish himself in the Ying clan in the future. Yingting, you can also go back and complain to the elders. Tell them how you were humiliated by me. If you do that, your elders might take extra care of you in the future. Qin Wentian seemed to be able to guess Yingting's thoughts as he continued. Yingting's face turned ashen. How could he say that? This madman. The crowd looked at Qin Wentian and felt their hearts trembling. He was definitely a madman. To be humiliated like this, Yingting would most probably be haunted by his inner demons in the future. Jiang Ziyu watched from afar as Qin Wentian tortured Yingting. His eyes flashed with a strange light. Be careful if you encounter this person in the future, Jiang Ziyu said to the people around him. He could sense a sense of wildness coming from Qin Wentian, which was crazy yet calm. He didn't kill Yingting, but made Yingting suffer a torture worse than death. Yet, he didn't put himself in a disadvantageous position. At this moment, he was like a completely different person from Qin Wentian, who didn't even reply to Yingting when he was berated by Qin Wentian. As long as he got the chance, he would make you regret it. As Qin Wentian tortured Yingting, he glanced at the others who were fighting and said indifferently, remember to be merciful. Don't kill them. Just make them lie on the ground, unable to move. All right, Junmengchen replied with a smile. He seemed to be somewhat excited. Fully armed, they had the absolute advantage and crushed the people of the Ying clan. It didn't take long before everyone was lying on the ground. At this moment, Yingting could no longer move. He was lying limply on the ground. Qin Wentian reached out and lifted him up, then walked towards the bronze gate. He pressed his palm on the bronze gate, and the gate opened. Qin Wentian tossed Yingting out. The others did the same, tossing out all the people of the Ying clan. They came in arrogantly, but left in such a miserable manner. It seemed that not only did they not gain anything from this trip, they were also humiliated. I heard that you want to kill me? Qin Wentian turned his gaze, staring at the people of the Dongshengshan Gate as well as Zidi's followers. His tone was filled with ridicule, causing the hearts of those people to tremble as they silently cursed Qin Wentian for being a bastard. This fellow didn't care about them at all earlier. He only acted after he dealt with the people of the Ying clan. Dongsheng Ting is dead? Qin Wentian suddenly asked, his words causing the countenances of everyone to turn cold as they stared at Qin Wentian. Seems like it's true. What a pity that I didn't personally kill him. Since this is the case, maybe the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi would treat you guys well. I won't act. Please leave. Qin Wentian stepped aside, allowing them to exit. The people of the Dongshengshan Gate and Zidi's followers respectively stepped out, their expressions extremely unsightly to behold. Indeed, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi might use the deaths of Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu to vent their anger on them. If an immortal emperor was angered, they might even lose their lives. They were contemplating if they should return to report the completion of the mission. If they didn't do so, they might even be hunted down by the immortal emperor. Staring at those people departing, Qin Wentian turned to Zhang Ziyu and the others as he smiled, Brother Zhang. Zhang Ziyu stared at Qin Wentian as he smiled, Brother Qin. Do you really not intend to visit my Zhang clan as a guest? It's fine. In the future when I wish to go, I will go there again. Qin Wentian smiled. Okay then, I will wait for Brother Qin's arrival. Zhang Ziyu smiled. After that, he waved his hands and led the people of the Zhang clan out. Do you guys want me to treat you guys? Qin Wentian stared at the remaining experts as he spoke. Their countenances were ashen. Right now, Qin Wentian and the others were all clad in puppets. If a battle broke out, peak-level Immortal Foundation experts might still be able to resist, but for those with weaker cultivation bases, they would be easily killed. Seemed like they could only retreat. This time Gu Shan came here for nothing. He didn't obtain God's hand and the so-called treasures of ancient Emperor Yi. These puppets actually required God's hand to activate. Very swiftly, the experts of the various powers all left, leaving behind only the people of the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qinbian Gate. They walked inside and the bronze door closed automatically. There were many puppets here, and although they were of different shapes and sizes, their power should be similar. They walked along the path in the middle, and came to another bronze door. It seemed like there were doors in front and behind them. Qin Wentian suddenly felt that it was ridiculous. Could it be that the puppets here were there to prevent people from tracking him? Were they there to defend against enemies? If this was the case, the person who did this was truly someone with great foresight. After the bronze gate was opened, a beam of light shot in as a cool breeze brushed past. Qin Wentian stood at the entrance and stared at the scene before him in a daze. This? Namhuang Yunxi exclaimed in shock. Not only for her and Qin Wentian, everyone else was stunned when they saw the scene before them. Their eyes, which were covered by the puppets, flickered with shock. Qin Wentian walked forward step by step. This was a flight of stairs, and as he walked down the stairs, they landed on a gigantic stone suspended in the air above a mountain peak. Ahead of them was an extremely precipitous mountain peak, but on top of this mountain peak, numerous palaces could be seen. They were all built in an orderly manner, giving the appearance of perfection to this mountain range. Their position was at the highest point and they had an extremely good field of vision when looking down. In fact, they could even see the silhouettes of humans moving about. His gaze continued to stare into the distance. Because the distance was too far, the buildings and humans there were as tiny as ants. Yet, they were all moving about. That was a city. Qin Wentian floated up and arrived at the peak of the mountain. He stared in all directions and discovered that the location he was at wasn't the end of this space. On the contrary, it was the center of this city. It was like the King's Mountain Range and he could see every corner of it. Not only were there humans here, but there was also a city here. It was like a world of its own. From the palaces below, silhouettes could be seen soaring up into the sky. These silhouettes were all clad in armor, and there were actually over 1,000 of them. They floated in the air and stared at Qin Wentian's group. They were divided into two groups. Below them, there were even more experts descending. These experts all had extraordinary demeanors and their eyes were brimming with vigor. It was as though they possessed great combat strength. Among them, a middle-aged man stepped out. He looked at Qin Wentian and asked in puzzlement, "Why are there so many people here? I wonder who opened this door?" Qin Wentian took a step forward and said, "It's me." The middle-aged man glanced at Qin Wentian. After that, he actually bowed to Qin Wentian and shouted, "Welcome, Saint Lord." We respectfully welcome the arrival of the Saint Lord. From all directions, the experts who descended all bowed to Qin Wentian as they called out in a loud voice, "Welcome, Saint Lord." Those armored soldiers even knelt on one knee. At this instant, their voices reverberated through the entire mountain range, like the roars of mountains and tsunamis, shaking everyone's hearts. Qin Wentian was stunned. Nam Huang Yunxi and the others were similarly stunned. They had no idea what was going on. Saint Lord? Why were these people so respectful to Qin Wentian and even addressed him as Saint Lord? Can you explain? Qin Wentian asked. Saint Lord, please follow me. The middle-aged man stretched his hand out and gestured. Qin Wentian slowly walked out. The others behind him followed after him. All of them were filled with curiosity. The middle-aged man led the way. He brought Qin Wentian downwards, heading towards the buildings. The buildings here weren't as majestic, but they were simple and unadorned, with a unique style to them. This gave Qin Wentian a strange feeling. This feeling was extremely marvelous. It was as though these buildings all contained an aura of battle. This was a formless aura, the aura of battle. Saint Lord, can you remove the puppet armor? These puppets were created by our clansmen. There's no need for Saint Lord to guard against us. That middle-aged man spoke to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian smiled. He truly didn't sense any evil intentions from the middle-aged man. Hence, he removed the armor and revealed his true appearance. The middle-aged man glanced at Qin Wentian as his eyes gleamed with sharpness. Saint Lord is so young, truly extraordinary. You should be even younger than the previous Saint Lord. The previous Saint Lord, Emperor? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Could it be that this place wasn't created by Emperor? Was Emperor the same as him, an outsider? Chapter 1077. In the ancient palace, many experts gathered here. Among them, there were many young men and women. Their gazes were fixed on Qin Wentian. Filled with curiosity, they had heard too many legends about the Qin Wentian clan, and also knew what the Saint Lord meant. But when they saw the young countenance of Qin Wentian, they still felt that it was interesting. Gather our clansmen and return to our ancestral grounds. The middle-aged man spoke, his voice ringing out across this entire space. The experts from all directions started to move, and at the same time, there were people serving the people from the Namhuang clan and the Immortal Champion Gate. That middle-aged man then spoke to Qin Wentian. Saint Lord, regarding your identity, we might need Saint Lord to personally head to our ancestral grounds to explain things to the Saint Lord. Qin Wentian fell silent for a moment before he nodded. Sure. Entertain the guests well. The middle-aged man commanded. Someone obeyed and the middle-aged man brought Qin Wentian in another direction. Senior, is this place a world? Qin Wentian curiously asked. Saint Lord, my name is Qidong Lu. Saint Lord, you can just call me by my name. There's no need to refer to me as senior. Qidong Lu hurriedly replied. This place can indeed be considered a world, but it naturally cannot be compared to the outside world. The first-generation Saint Lord sealed this place and created the 3 world skies in order to help my clan find a place to settle down. 3 world skies? Qin Wentian asked in bewilderment. Yes, 3 world skies. This is the first world, above it are the second and third world skies. Qidong Lu explained, his words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash. He couldn't help but to think of the 3 bronze gates outside. Could it be that these 3 bronze gates corresponded to the 3 world skies that Qidong Lu spoke of? Qidong Lu brought Qin Wentian through many caves and came to a desolate place. This desolate place resembled an ancient battlefield, and there was an ancient battle platform in the center. The surroundings of the platform were filled with gigantic stone peaks, and at this moment, several silhouettes could be seen standing on the peaks. All of them exuded a surging aura. Their blood and chi were incomparably vigorous. Their eyes shone with spirit as they exuded a powerful combat might. Qidong Lu brought Qin Wentian to the peak in the center of the platform. Staring at the crowd, Qidong Lu spoke. Why are you still not paying your respects to the Saint Lord? Greetings, Saint Lord. Everyone stared at Qin Wentian as they bowed in respect. However, Qin Wentian also discovered that some of the youth's gazes weren't that sincere. Their gazes were filled with battle intent. Saint Lord, please don't blame us. There are some young fellows in the first world who lack respect for the history of their clan. However, The people of our Battle Saint tribe are all men of character. Even if they lack respect for Saint Lord, they wouldn't dare to do anything disrespectful to you. Qi Donglu spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. What a tyrannical name. Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian mumbled. There were many ancient clans in the immortal realms. For example, the Southern Phoenix clan and Clan Jiang clan. All of them had a history of countless years. Other than this, there were also countless ancient clans in the immortal realms. An example was the Gold clan of the southern region. But for a clan that dared to proclaim itself as a Battle Saint tribe, it was extremely rare. Yes, the Battle Saint tribe. Qi Donglu nodded. He then turned to Qin Wentian and explained, Saint Lord shouldn't know about our tribe yet. Our tribe also doesn't know about the external world. But according to the ancient records and the teachings passed down from generation to generation, we know that our Battle Saint tribe is a truly powerful tribe that has existed since the supreme ancient immortal realms, standing at the peak of the boundless world, peering disdainfully at everything under the heavens. Upon hearing Qi Donglio's words, the eyes of the youths on the mountain peaks all gleamed with sharpness as their blood for battle surged within them. This rumor had been passed down from generation to generation since they were young. The teachings of their ancestors told them not to forget their identity, not to forget how strong they were, and that there would be a day when they would be able to return to the peak. The Battle Saint tribe, a powerful ancient tribe that stood at the peak of the world? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He thought back to the memories his father left behind for him. The clan that his father betrayed, was it such a powerful tribe? Naturally, this is already history. Now that I mention it, other than adding some glory to our Battle Saint tribe, there's no other use. Qi Donglu suddenly spoke, sounding a little disappointed. From the ancient records and the teachings of our ancestors, we know that countless years ago, our tribe met with a calamity of destruction. The most important saint bones of our tribe were all taken away by others, causing us to be on the brink of annihilation. Our ancestors managed to evade this calamity, and this was the reason why the Battle Saint tribe of today exists. When Qin Wentian heard Qi Donglio's words, he started to believe it. No matter how powerful a tribe was, in the long river of history, there would always be a period of glory and a period of decline. There are countless powerful tribes in the boundless world, and after millions and millions of years of evolution, who could guarantee that a particular tribe would be able to last for eternity? This immortal realm was once unified by many ancient emperors, but didn't it still crumble and fall apart? Many experts rose up. Time could change too many things. How many major powers and ancient clans had vanished in the course of history? It could be considered fortunate that the Battle Saint tribe was able to survive until now. My tribe wasn't annihilated and managed to survive. It was all thanks to the help of the first generation Saint Lord. In order to avoid the calamity of that year, the first generation Saint Lord allowed us to take refuge here, cutting off all contact with the outside world. Only after generations of Saint Lords came here would they choose a few of our tribesmen to go out and survive in the outside world. At the same time, for the sake of the ultimate goal of our tribe, we want to search for the Battle Saint bone that was stolen from our ancestors. Why don't we go out together? Qin Wentian asked. Saint Lord, you might not know this, but although our tribe reproduced extremely quickly countless years ago, the number of people who could truly awaken the bloodline of the Battle Saint tribe and give birth to the Battle Saint bone is extremely rare. Saint Lord has already seen these people here. These are the people from the Battle Saint bone tribe who were born during the countless years between the first generation Saint Lord and you. Naturally, this is only the first world. There are still some who went to the upper world. Qin Wentian glanced at everyone and frowned. Isn't this a little too few? The number of direct descendants of the Battle Saint tribe in the first world isn't as many as in the upper world. Because after breaking through to the immortal king realm, the tribe members would choose to go to the upper world. Since the talents of our tribe are all extremely high, many of us would break through to the immortal king realm and go to the upper world. The people here are all the younger ones. In the future, when Saint Lord goes to the second world, you should be able to see even more of our tribe members. Qi Donglu spoke. Qin Wentian had long noticed that the people here were all at the immortal foundation realm, so it turned out that they had all gone to the upper world. Seems like it's the same as what I've guessed. The other two bronze gates should be connected to the upper world. This should be to prevent those who don't have enough strength to casually bring out the members of the Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian silently mused. Qi Donglu, didn't you say earlier that the Battle Saint bone of your ancestor was stolen away? Why would the members of your tribe awaken a new Battle Saint bone? Qin Wentian didn't understand. According to the ancient records of my Battle Saint tribe, the Battle Saint bone stolen from our ancestor is the most important inheritance of our tribe. It contains the boundless secrets of the Great Tao, and has a certain chance of being passed on to the later generations. From then on, there would be a chance for an innate Battle Saint King to appear every once in a while. However, due to that calamity back then, the Battle Saint bone was stolen away and no more inheritances could be passed down. The members of our tribe guessed that not only would there be no more innate Battle Saint Kings, the average talent of our tribe would also be much weaker compared to back then. The power of our inheritance would also be diluted. Qi Donglu sighed, his words causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. If what Qi Donglu said was true, and there were so many people who possessed the Battle Saint bone that they could all break through to the Immortal King realm, how terrifying was the members of their tribe back then? Maybe they really were a peak-level tribe. Such a glorious era was simply unimaginable. Back then, although the first-generation Saint Lord helped us to continue the bloodline of our tribe, he didn't want our tribe to vanish in the annals of history. This was why he risked his life to do such a benevolent deed. He didn't ask for anything in return. However, in order to thank the first-generation Saint Lord for his kindness, we allowed him to cultivate the Battle Saint art of our tribe. The first-generation Saint Lord was also a supreme character. He was able to derive a supremely powerful innate technique from the Battle Saint art. Saint Lord, you should have relied on this innate technique to enter this place. Qi Donglu continued, also, our ancestor and the Saint Lord have an agreement. In the future, the members of our tribe would assist the person who obtained his inheritance, viewing that person as the Saint Lord. Every generation of Saint Lord would be able to mobilize half of our tribe's strength to head to the outside world. As for those who stayed behind, they would be able to continue the existence of the Battle Saint tribe. The people of our tribe would respect the Saint Lord as our Lord, but we also hope that the Saint Lord would be able to help them grow together. For those who went out with the Saint Lord, they wouldn't be able to return. Other than assisting the Saint Lord, they also shouldered the responsibility of finding the Saint bone that was stolen from them, returning to the peak of glory of our tribe. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He suddenly asked, what if there are multiple Saint Lords in the same era? That's not very possible. The first-generation Saint Lord once said that those who could obtain his inheritance and open the gate to this world would have the potential to dominate the outside world. Such people wouldn't appear more than once in an era, and even if they appeared, it's impossible for them to obtain the inheritance at the same time. The probability of such a thing happening is almost zero. If there were such people, there would be two Saint Lords. Qi Donglu laughed. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. Potential to dominate the immortal realms? This first-generation Saint Lord was truly confident. So it turned out that the God's hand wasn't created by Emperor Yi. Instead, it was created by someone in the generation before Emperor Yi. This was created by the first-generation Saint Lord. Qin Wentian suddenly thought of a person. He then asked, do you guys know of Emperor Yu? Emperor Yu was rumored to be the servant of Emperor Yi. And for the people of the Battle Saint tribe, Emperor Yi was the Saint Lord of the previous generation. You! Qi Donglio's eyes flashed. I've seen the genealogy records in the ancient records. Among those who followed the Saint Lord out, there's a person named Qi Yu. I wonder if they are related or not. In that case, there's a high chance that it's him. Qin Wentian smiled. So it turned out that Emperor Yu wasn't merely protecting Emperor Yi's secret art. In that case, the old man beside Emperor Yu, were they also from the Battle Saint tribe? Chapter 1078. Saint Lord. At this moment, Qi Donglu had a heavy expression on his face as he stared at Qin Wentian. What's the matter? Qin Wentian asked. This time around, we didn't expect Saint Lord to bring so many people here. With regards to the secret of our tribe, I hope that Saint Lord will not mention it to the people of the outside world. Although it's very difficult for outsiders to enter this place, once news of our tribe's secret is leaked out, I'm worried that supreme characters from other worlds might come here. Qi Donglu spoke. Naturally, Saint Lord can come here at any time. This faction of the Battle Saint tribe had just escaped death. Those who went out were in charge of reviving their tribe, searching for hope, while the people here were in charge of passing down their legacy. As long as the Battle Saint tribe wasn't destroyed, there would always be a new generation that could succeed. This was the hope of the Battle Saint tribe. Don't worry, I will definitely keep this a secret from everyone, including those friends of mine. Qin Wentian nodded heavily. This concerned the inheritance of the Battle Saint tribe. If news of this leaked out, it would surely cause a huge commotion in the immortal realms. It's just that there are some extraordinary methods in the outside world. If the members of the Battle Saint tribe encountered danger outside and their memories were searched, wouldn't that be bad? Qin Wentian asked. How could our tribe not have considered this point? The males of our Battle Saint tribe are all natural warriors. If we were really captured alive and met with such danger, we would definitely use a secret art to commit suicide or destroy our memories. Qi Donglu spoke. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. In this case, unless the Saint Lord betrays them, the secret of the Battle Saint tribe would never be exposed. Naturally, the Battle Saint tribe could follow the Saint Lord. There was no reason for the Saint Lord to betray them. Saint Lord, those who awakened their Battle Saint blood and gave birth to their Battle Saint bone are all here. You can choose half of them to follow you. They will make a vow to protect Saint Lord. They only hope that when Saint Lord grows stronger, you can pull them along and see if there are any among them who can break through their shackles and accompany Saint Lord on this journey. Qi Donglu pointed to the crowd as he spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. The majority of the people here were young and their auras surged. The battle intent radiating from them was tyrannical. The Battle Saint tribe was born to be warriors. During their glorious era, there were even innate Battle Saint kings. Which one of you is willing to follow me to roam the outside world? Qin Wentian asked. Me. There were no exceptions, all of them were willing to leave. In this dimension, their Battle Saint tribe had no opponents. If they stayed behind, it would be hard for them to obtain a chance to grow. Compared to protecting their descendants, they were more willing to go out and roam the world, to search for the glory of their ancestors, to search for the glory of the past. That was their mission. Even if there were countless dangers after they left, even if they weren't allowed to return, their Battle Saint tribe still needed such courage and conviction. They were all born warriors, so how could they be willing to be ordinary? Qin Wentian stared at them. He could sense the courage radiating from them. Although many of them lacked respect for him, they still didn't hesitate to express their willingness to follow him out. After all, this was their mission. Qin Wentian took a step forward, staring at everyone as he spoke. I, Qin Wentian, have a cultivation base at the first level of Immortal Foundation. I'm very weak and can't even be compared to many of you. I came here by chance and became your Saint Lord. I swear to the heavens that in the future, I, Qin Wentian, will never betray the Battle Saint tribe, nor will I easily betray any of you. I will respect all of you. If not, I, Qin Wentian, shall not be tolerated by the heavens and earth, and shall be annihilated by the heavens. Right now, I also need all of you to swear an oath, because I don't wish for those who follow me to become a burden to me, doing things that are disrespectful to me or even betraying me. I won't force you guys, but if you aren't willing to swear an oath, I won't bring you guys out. Qin Wentian emotionlessly spoke. Swear on the name of the Battle Saint tribe. Qi Donglu stepped out, standing in the center of the crowd as he spoke in a loud voice. The eyes of everyone flickered as they stared at Qi Donglu. After that, they all spoke in a loud voice. Swear on the name of the Battle Saint tribe. The tribesmen of my Battle Saint tribe here are all willing to follow the Saint Lord of this generation, Qin Wentian, to the death. No one dares to disobey the orders of the Saint Lord. If there's anyone who betrays the Saint Lord, the heavens and earth shall not tolerate it. The Battle Saint tribe shall never rise again. Qi Donglu made a heavy oath. The other tribesmen all followed suit, their countenances solemn. Qin Wentian stared at everyone and nodded. Obtaining God's hand was already an extremely great harvest. He also didn't expect that because he cultivated God's hand, he would come here and become the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe. However, since there was such an opportunity, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't be willing to miss it out. This was something that was beneficial to both parties. Hence, after listening to Qi Donglio's explanation of the situation of the Battle Saint tribe, Qin Wentian knew that he had a chance to establish a supreme army that belonged to him. This army would grow together with him and conquer the world. This wasn't the power of the heavenly talisman realm, nor was it the power of the Dongshangshan gate. It was a power that belonged to him and would only listen to him. Qin Wentian waved his hand as a treasured cauldron appeared. This cauldron expanded in the air, transforming into an incomparably gigantic one. After that he landed on the ground and spoke, "Within this cauldron, there is an ancient sacred luminance that can evolve your physiques, allowing your aptitudes to grow stronger. However, the light of the sacred luminance contains an extremely powerful destructive might. If you guys can't endure it, just come out immediately. I believe that as members of the Battle Saint tribe, no one will be killed by the sacred luminance." Sacred luminance? Qi Donglu started. After that, an excited smile appeared on his face as he bowed to Qin Wentian. "Many thanks, Saint Lord. You can go as well." Qin Wentian and Qi Donglu nodded their heads and stepped out. The members of the Battle Saint tribe all appeared above the cauldron as their silhouettes flickered, entering it. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he appeared above the cauldron. The members of the Battle Saint tribe who entered the cauldron instantly entered a state of immersion, enduring the sacred luminance. Resplendent light radiated from their bodies and Qin Wentian could sense a terrifying battle intent from their bloodlines. In fact, he could even sense the terrifying profundity of the Battle Saint bone. This was a race that was born for combat. In this world, there were many innately powerful races that were born extraordinary. For the members of the Battle Saint tribe, there wasn't a single person who couldn't withstand the baptism of the sacred luminance. All of them were enduring it. Upon seeing this scene, Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he returned to the ancient mountain peak. He sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes in cultivation. In the Great Thousand Worlds there were 33 immortal realms and countless particle worlds. There were also powerful races like his father and the Battle Saint tribe. Even if he became an immortal, the road ahead of him was still very long. The inheritance bone of the Battle Saint tribe was stolen by someone. Everything about his father and his memories was taken away by the experts of his clan, and was even destroyed. For the sake of reviving the Battle Saint tribe, he, Qin Wentian, also wanted to find an answer. Within the palaces, the people from the Namhuang clan and the Immortal Champion Gate all received very good treatment. However, Qin Wentian had disappeared. According to the serving girl, this was the ruling power of this world. Not only did Qin Wentian disappear, the core members of the royal clan all went to the ancestral land together. They had something important to tell Qin Wentian. As for why they wanted to ask the Saint Lord about it, the servants merely said that they didn't know. Everyone was speechless and could only continue to wait. Today, Qin Wentian and the people from the Battle Saint tribe finally came out. "Senior brother, where did you guys go?" Jun Mengchen saw Qin Wentian and immediately walked up. "You don't know this, but after we took off the armor we couldn't move at all. It seems that we can only use God's hand to activate the armor. This is too depressing. Haha, this armor was created by my tribe. If you guys want something easier to control, that's fine too. I can bring you guys over right now." Qi Donglu laughed. "Really?" Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed. "Naturally. All of you are guests from afar, and are also friends of the Saint Lord. What's wrong with giving you guys some gifts?" Qi Donglu laughed. "Oh yeah, why did you guys refer to my senior brother as the Saint Lord?" Jun Mengchen curiously asked. The beautiful eyes of Namhuang Yunxi and Nanfeng Shunga flickered, filled with curiosity as well. "It's a long story. Back then, ancient Emperor Yi had done a great favor for our clan. The inheritor of his ultimate art is none other than the Saint Lord of our clan." Qi Donglu smiled. Jun Mengchen and the others nodded. They didn't suspect anything. "Let's go, I will bring you guys to the weapon hall of my tribe." Qi Donglu laughed. Qin Wentian gathered the experts from the Namhuang clan and Immortal Champion Gate. Under Qi Donglio's lead they came to a mountain range. The temperature here was extremely high, and there were many weapon halls. When they saw Qi Donglu and the others, the people here were all filled with respect. Not long after, they arrived at the weapons storage area of the weapon hall. Each weapon storage area had different immortal rank treasures. When they came to a puppet-type weapon storage area, they discovered that there were all sorts of puppets here. There were demonic puppets, human-shaped puppets, combat puppets. The sheer number was simply shocking. Are all the weapons here immortal ranked? Qin Wentian was somewhat shocked. Yes, Saint Lord. Qi Donglu nodded. After that, he transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. Saint Lord, our Battle Saint tribe is born to be warriors and we also have extraordinary talent in weaponsmithing. Qin Wentian silently nodded. He could understand this point. The reason why Qin Wentian could comprehend God's hand was because of his proficiency in divine inscriptions. And God's hand was derived from the Battle Saint art. The members of the Battle Saint tribe definitely had an innate talent in weaponsmithing. These are all accumulated over countless years. Saint Lord, if you need them, you can bring half of them away. Qi Donglu continued to transmit his voice, his words causing Qin Wentian's heart to pound. In truth, Yingting and the others didn't guess too far off. Although this place wasn't the treasury of ancient Emperor Yi, it was still a treasure trove and almost all of the treasures here belonged to him. If I can open the other 2 bronze gates and enter the upper world, how terrifying would my harvest be? Qin Wentian mused, his heart pounding with excitement. However, he could also sense that with his current comprehension of God's hand, it was still impossible for him to open the other 2 bronze gates. He would only have a chance in the future. Chapter 1079. Qi Donglu and Qin Wentian were conversing via voice transmission. The others naturally had no idea that these people were from the ancient Battle Saint tribe. Only those who had awakened the Battle Saint bloodline and possessed the Battle Saint bone would know about this. Usually they would never mention this. It was only because Qin Wentian came here that they revealed this secret to him. Yunqi, let the people from the Namhuang clan choose 2 treasures each. The people from the immortal Qianbian Gate can also choose 2 treasures each. Donglu has already said that since we came here, this can be considered a gift. In that case, I won't stand on ceremony. Qin Wentian smiled as he spoke to everyone. The treasures here were all 6th ranked, corresponding to the immortal foundation realm. Most probably, in the upper world, there would be 7th ranked treasures corresponding to the immortal king realm. Saint Lord is right. It's rare for everyone to come to my world. There's no need to stand on ceremony. Qi Donglu smiled. Namhuang Yunqi turned to Qin Wentian and smiled. Namhuang Yunqi thanks Senior. Everyone is a friend of the Saint Lord. There's no need to stand on ceremony. Qi Donglu waved his hands as everyone started to choose their treasures. After everyone finished choosing their treasures, Qin Wentian smiled. We've been here for several days and our harvests are already not small. It's time for us to leave. Qi Donglu started, feeling bewildered. He transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. Saint Lord, are you leaving just like this? You haven't chosen anyone from my clan yet. Also, although my clan has been destroyed, there are still some innate techniques that have been passed down. Although they are incomplete, they are still very powerful. More importantly, the Battle Saint art can be used as a reference. Donglu, there are many people in the outside world. I cannot let them suspect you guys. Hence we need to leave this place. I will bring them along first and come back a few days later. Qin Wentian transmitted his voiceover. It was impossible for him to bring them out now. He didn't want to waste too much time. Zidi Dongsheng have an emperor. The Jiang clan and the Ying clan were all waiting outside. In order to better protect the secret of the Battle Saint tribe, he had to leave as soon as possible. I understand. Qi Donglu replied telepathically. Since Qin Wentian would return, he naturally wouldn't say anything. Qi Donglu was naturally happy that the Saint Lord was being considerate of them. Yes, it's time to go. Namhuang Yunqi nodded her head. Although their harvests weren't as great as Qin Wentian's, they didn't come here for nothing. Moreover, there was actually a power here that ancient Emperor Yi had once helped, forming a world of its own. This was truly interesting. Qin Wentian's harvest was the greatest. After cultivating God's hand, it was unknown how many major powers would be jealous of him. Luckily, it was useless even if they were jealous. God's hand could only be cultivated in the ancient mountain. Qin Wentian bid farewell to Qi Donglu as everyone returned to the entrance. Like before, only Qin Wentian could open the exit. Stepping into the palace behind the bronze gate, Qin Wentian took out the puppet armors and commanded, "Those with lower cultivation bases, Please equip these puppet armors. Those fellows should still be outside. It's best to be more careful. Everyone nodded. Qin Wentian took out the puppet armors and opened the gate for everyone, allowing them to enter. After that, he opened the exit and walked out. As expected, Qin Wentian instantly saw many figures standing in front of him, staring at them. Yingting and the others recovered very quickly. When they saw Qin Wentian coming out, their killing intent gushed forth uncontrollably. Their eyes stared fixedly at Qin Wentian as their bodies trembled. Their hatred for Qin Wentian had already reached an extreme. Everyone, you are still here. Qin Wentian smiled and walked out of the bronze gate. After they exited, the bronze gate closed. The greater demons guarding outside still had their eyes closed, as though they didn't know what happened. Brother Qin, did you gain anything? Zhang Ziyu smiled as he stared at Qin Wentian, without the slightest bit of anger in his tone. My cultivation of God's hand can be considered to have officially begun. I also obtained these puppet armors, as well as many 6th-rank divine weapons. To me, this is a great harvest. However, I'm sure Brother Jiang wouldn't be interested in these things. Qin Wentian smiled. The two of them continued to feign civility, not shedding all pretense of cordiality. Qin Wentian couldn't tell what Zhang Ziyu was thinking, but as long as Zhang Ziyu didn't take the initiative to antagonize him, he didn't want to make any more enemies. There were also times when descendants of the immortal realms were killed. For example, Dong Shengting and Zi Daoyang. If one wanted to live a long life in the immortal realms, there was no harm in being more cautious. I, Jiang, am very interested in God's hand. Sadly, I can't cultivate it. Zhang Ziyu sighed. As for 6th-rank divine weapons, I don't lack them. However, the other 2 bronze gates should contain even more valuable treasures. In the future, they would all belong to Brother Qin. I, Qin, don't have the ability to open these 2 bronze gates. Maybe when I break through to the Immortal King realm and cultivate God's hand to an even higher level, I might have a chance to unravel the mysteries behind the bronze gates. Naturally, the prerequisite is that I have to live until then. Qin Wentian joked, glancing at everyone here. Zhang Ziyu stared at the eyes in Qin Wentian's puppet armor. In truth, he had the same conjecture as Qin Wentian. He also felt that only those with a higher cultivation base would be able to open the 2 bronze gates. As for whether Qin Wentian only obtained those treasures from the first bronze gate, Zhang Ziyu actually faintly believed in Qin Wentian. He glanced at the others, but none of them had any strange expressions on their faces. In this case, Qin Wentian was equivalent to a living treasure trove. The treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi could only be opened by him. Qin Wentian turned his head and stared at the other 2 bronze gates. Given his current cultivation base, it was true that he wouldn't be able to open them. Let's return. Qin Wentian spoke to the people around him. This trip to the ancient mountain was extremely beneficial to him. Right now, he had obtained an army of Immortal Foundation experts as well as all sorts of treasures. Naturally, what was even more terrifying was that in the future, if the other 2 bronze gates could be opened, then most probably the reason why ancient Emperor could dominate the immortal realms back then was because of this. Qin Wentian left as soon as he said he wanted to. The people from the Namhuang clan and Immortal Qianbian Gate didn't linger at all. The crowd retreated, opening up a path for them, allowing them to walk through as they headed towards the exit of this immortal palace. Yingting clenched his fists tightly. He glanced at the golden human-shaped diagram and the bronze gates with reluctance. Let's go. Now they could only return. Everyone gradually retreated. Although they were reluctant to accept that they didn't gain anything from this trip to the ancient mountain, since things have come to this, there was no other way. They could only serve as foils for Qin Wentian. The ancient residence of ancient Emperor Yi, the bronze gates. I hope the clan can think of a way to send experts to enter. Yingting silently mused. However, he also knew that this would be extremely difficult. The ancient mountain was a place that even Zidi couldn't enter. Up until now, they still felt that everything here was left behind by ancient Emperor Yi. Naturally, if Qin Wentian didn't enter that world and saw the people from the Battle Saint tribe, he would also feel the same way. A few days after everyone left, a figure wearing a bronze mask and a black dog came to Mount Wuji. He walked into the entrance of Mount Wuji, and then took out a sealing magical treasure to seal the entrance. He then stepped into the immortal palace and walked directly to the golden human figure. He took a step towards the figure and, just like his original body, his body was being cleansed. Although the path he walked was different from his original body, it didn't hinder his cultivation of God's hand. His original body could unleash God's hand using destructive and suppressive energy. As for him, he could unleash it using sealing energy as well. After several days after his body was cleansed, he returned and retrieved the sealing diagram. After that, he walked to the front of the bronze gates. The three greater demons opened their eyes as they stared at him with expressions of shock on their faces. After that, the greater demon saw Ditian opening the bronze gates and stepping inside. The three greater demons exchanged mutual glances. There were actually two people who could open the bronze gates. Ditian opened two gates and entered the world where the Battle Saint tribe was located. Very swiftly, numerous figures appeared. Qi Donglu stared at the figure with the bronze mask as his heart trembled. How could this be possible? Were there really going to be two Saint Lords? Donglu, it's me. Ditian removed his mask, revealing his countenance. This countenance was completely identical to Qin Wentian. Only his aura was slightly different. Qi Donglu was still shocked. This person knew his name and his countenance was identical to Qin Wentian. They should be the same person, but why was their aura so different? Even their aura was different. Avatar. Ditian spoke. The secret of the Battle Saint tribe was on him, and they swore an oath to protect him. Once the members of the Battle Saint tribe were captured, they would either commit suicide or destroy their memories. Hence, Ditian dared to reveal this secret to them. It was impossible for the Battle Saint tribe to betray him. I pay my respects to Saint Lord. Qi Donglu no longer had any doubts. His heart trembled. He didn't expect the Saint Lord to be so powerful, having an avatar that cultivated a completely different cultivation path. This was equivalent to having another original body. Let's go. Ditian stepped out. Qi Donglu followed behind. He didn't expect the Saint Lord to return so quickly. Youth, God's hand, treasured cauldron, sacred luminance, avatar. Seems like the Saint Lord of this generation was even more extraordinary compared to the previous Saint Lord. With regards to this, Qi Donglu was naturally filled with anticipation. In the external world at the God-Hand Mountain Manor, Zidi Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, Nanfeng Guhong, the Ying clan and the immortal emperors of the Jiang clan were still waiting. After such a long time, the key characters who entered the ancient mountain still haven't come out. They had no idea how they were doing now. Did anyone manage to cultivate God's hand? If someone succeeded, who would it be? Also, they had no idea if there was a huge battle in the ancient mountain. How many casualties were there? At this moment, the aura in the ancient mountain fluctuated. After that, a bright light flashed as numerous figures riding on immortal weapons appeared, walking out from the ancient mountain. Ew! The eyes of the Jiang clan flashed. Jiang Ziyu led the people of the Jiang clan out. Ingtung. The people of the Ying clan also saw the people of the Jiang clan coming out. One after another, experts from the various powers appeared. They actually came out together and there was no conflict at all. This caused them to feel somewhat bewildered. This shouldn't be the case, right? These people all came to the God-Hand Mountain Manor, their gazes still fixed on the ancient mountain. Namhuang Yunqi appeared on a phoenix boat. The experts from the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qinbian Gate also appeared. In addition, all of them seemed to be clad in puppet armor. The gazes of the various powers turned over. Those who came out earlier all had unkind expressions on their faces. Also, everyone discovered that their eyes were all staring at the same figure. The young man standing beside Namhuang Yunqi was none other than Qin Wentian. Chapter 1080. The Phoenix boat descended upon the God-Hand Mountain Manor. Nanfeng Guhong and the Emperor of Qinbian all turned their gazes over. Zidi and the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor also turned their gazes over. At this moment, no one spoke, although everyone wanted to know what happened in the ancient mountain. The various experts stood in different locations. The God-Hand Mountain Manor was very vast, hence, everyone was separated. Ingtung. The immortal emperor of the Ying clan saw the killing intent radiating from Ingtung. He then asked what happened. What did he encounter in the ancient mountain? The gazes of everyone turned to Ingtung only to see Ingtung staring fixedly at Qin Wentian as he spoke, Within the ancient mountain, there's an ancient Emperor Yi's residence. Qin Wentian obtained the treasures there. As the sound of his voice faded, a terrifying aura descended from the sky, boring down on Qin Wentian. That pressure was so strong that it felt as though as long as they made the slightest movement, Qin Wentian would die without a burial ground. Qin Wentian. Zidi's gaze landed on Qin Wentian. His robes fluttered in the wind as violet qi gushed forth. You can't withstand the treasures of ancient Emperor Yi. Hand them over. Yingting, you intentionally framed Qin Wentian. Shameless. Nam Huang Yunqi's expression turned unsightly. This Yingting wanted to kill Qin Wentian. The waves of pressure bore down on Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian's forehead was covered in sweat as his legs trembled. The Emperor of Qianbian stepped out, standing in front of Qin Wentian. All of you are immortal kings and emperors. With your statuses, don't you think it's beneath you to deal with someone who just stepped into immortal foundation? Yingting is lying. That disciple from the heavenly talisman realm spoke. Seniors, it's best if you understand the situation first before saying anything. Then I'll have to listen to your explanation. Also, where are the people from Dongshengshan Gate? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor took a few steps forward. His expression was the most unsightly. Many experts had come out, but he didn't see anyone from Dongshengshan Gate. Zidi's people weren't here. Naturally, the mysterious young man with the bronze mask whom he wanted to kill also didn't appear. Most probably, he knew that Qin Wentian would wait for him outside and chose to hide in the ancient mountain, not daring to step out. After all, both he and Zidi's immortal sense had seen the young man killing the others. Yingting, what's going on exactly? The immortal emperor of the Ying clan asked. Very simple. Yingting was humiliated by Qin Wentian in the ancient mountain. This is an act of revenge. Nam Huang Yunqi spoke. Yingting, do you want me to tell you everything? Yingting's expression turned cold. Nam Huang Yunqi, it's said that when a girl grows up, it's hard to keep her at home. As the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan, you actually fell in love with someone? Don't forget, you are not allowed to marry out of the clan. Nam Huang Yunqi already walked out from the puppet armor. Her beautiful face was filled with coldness. Did I say something wrong? Could it be that the puppet armors around you are not the treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi? Could it be that they weren't obtained from ancient Emperor Yi's immortal palace? Yingting coldly continued. Brother Jiang and everyone else can testify to this point. At this moment, Qin Wentian walked out and smiled. Let me personally explain what happened to all the seniors here. Okay, I want to hear what you have to say. A demon emperor Golden Condor spoke. The gazes of everyone turned to Qin Wentian, waiting for him to speak. The matter is very simple. Within the ancient mountain, there's the divine essence of God's hand, allowing one to cultivate God's hand. Qin was extremely fortunate and had some accomplishments in God's hand. Together, we managed to find the old residence of ancient Emperor Yi. Over there was a greater demon guarding it, and there's a high possibility that it's a greater demon emperor. Qin Wentian spoke, his words causing the hearts of everyone to tremble. To think that the old residence of ancient Emperor Yi was actually hidden within the ancient mountain. There are 3 bronze gates in the old residence of ancient Emperor Yi. These bronze gates can only be opened by those who have cultivated God's hand. I used God's hand to open the first bronze gate and entered. The people here also entered together with me and some minor conflicts occurred. I even injured Brother Yingting before. Hence Brother Yingting feels some hatred towards me. Qin Wentian smiled. His tone was as light as the clouds and wind, with no anger at all. It was like he was just joking around with Yingting. That calm tone of his actually caused Yingting's heart to burn with terrifying flames of rage. Within the bronze gates, there's the puppet armor I was wearing. There's also a treasure trove with other immortal weapons and treasures. All of them are at the 6th tier. I believe seniors wouldn't even be interested in them. After staying inside for a few days, I came out. The others were waiting outside, and they also saw that I didn't have the ability to open the other 2 bronze gates. Although the treasures inside might be more valuable, I might only be able to open them after I break through to the immortal king realm. Qin Wentian smiled. This is the entire story. Many people who entered the ancient mountain have all witnessed it. There's no falsehood at all. Those immortal emperors stared at the group of people who came out, only to see that they didn't say anything. Seems like what Qin Wentian said was true. In that case, all the treasures of ancient Emperor Yi could only be opened by him. At this moment, more people came out from the ancient mountain. These people were none other than the subordinates of the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor and the Violet Emperor. They lowered their heads and walked over in fear. When they arrived at the God Hand Mountain Manor, they immediately knelt before the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor and the Violet Emperor. At this moment, a terrifying baleful aura gushed forth from the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor and the Violet Emperor, boring down on everyone. Speak. Dongxing Heaven Emperor spat out a single word. At that time His Highness sent us to pursue Qin Wentian. However, we were intercepted by the Namhuang clan and the Immortal Champion Gate. Namhuang Yunqi and Qin Wentian fled while His Highness Ting and Zi Yunwu pursued them. As for what happened after that, we have no idea at all. Those people buried their heads in the ground, trembling in fear. Dongxing Heaven Emperor lost his son while Zidi lost his nephew. Qin Wentian. Dongxing Heaven Emperor took a few steps forward as his killing intent bore down on Qin Wentian once more. Emperor Qianbian walked in front of Qin Wentian, blocking Dongxing Heaven Emperor's pressure. Eastern Sage, your son hunted me down and was intercepted by a mysterious person using a sealing treasure. I was the one who was hunted down, and although I wanted to kill Dongxing Ting, his death has nothing to do with me. Yet, you want to blame his death on me? Aren't you bullying me a little too much? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Who knows if you participated or not? Zidi walked over. Senior Zidi, I've never met you before. I've only heard of Zidi's name. Senior Sun Zi Daoyang fought against me in the City of Ancient Emperors for the Immortal Ascension rankings. A battle between geniuses. We fought fair and square and defeated each other. You want to blame his death on me? That's why Zi Yunwu pursued me and almost took my life. Now you want to blame Zi Yunwu's death on me? Is this the magnanimity of Senior Zidi? Zidi, you are a peak-level immortal emperor of the immortal realms. Aren't you lowering your status by doing this? Emperor Qianbian coldly spoke. Rumble. Zidi took a step forward. A terrifying might directly blasted Qin Wentian backwards as he groaned in misery. Since he said that this has nothing to do with him, I will bring him away. If I investigate thoroughly, I will naturally release him. Zidi spoke in arrogance. His palm stretched out, transforming into a terrifying violet palm that grabbed towards Qin Wentian. The Emperor Qianbian's palms trembled as a bolt of lightning blasted forth, slamming into the violet palm. A terrifying aura engulfed the entire space. Although it was just a casual strike, it still caused cracks to appear on the ground. Emperor Qianbian, you dare to obstruct me? Zidi stood with his hands clasped behind his back. The gazes of everyone turned to him. This peak-level immortal Emperor Zidi was truly tyrannical. He wanted to bring Qin Wentian away. Most probably it wasn't as simple as revenge. Right now, Qin Wentian had God's hand on him, as well as the method to open the treasury of ancient Emperor Yi. Senior Zidi, even if you capture me, you don't have the strength to enter the ancient mountain. Regardless of God's hand or the treasury, you still wouldn't be able to obtain it. Qin Wentian naturally understood Zidi's intentions. He coldly spoke. He dared to come out because of this logic. Even if he was captured, it would be useless. The others wouldn't be able to enter the ancient mountain. Humph, Zidi coldly snorted. Another wave of pressure blasted onto Qin Wentian, causing him to retreat repeatedly. Even with the protection of the puppet armor, his body was still trembling violently from the impact. Zidi, this is beneath your status. Nanfeng Guhong walked over, standing before Qin Wentian. This is my matter. Does the Namhuang clan want to interfere as well? Zidi stared at Nanfeng Guhong. Qin Wentian is a friend of the Namhuang clan. Nanfeng Guhong calmly replied. The Namhuang clan wants to bring Qin Wentian away themselves, right? The Demon Emperor Condor coldly spoke. This time around, Qin Wentian was the only one who benefited from this trip to the God Hand Mountain Manor. They didn't gain anything at all. The heart of a vile character. Nanfeng Guhong didn't even glance at the Demon Emperor as she coldly spoke. No matter what, we can't let Qin Wentian leave so easily. An immortal emperor from the Ying clan also spoke. All of you are immortal emperors, yet you dare to bully me like this? In that case, I would like to ask seniors, what do you all want from me, Qin Wentian? Qin Wentian asked. At the same time, he actually took off the puppet armor. In front of these immortal emperors, it was useless. Qin Wentian didn't even glance sideways. He transmitted his voice to Emperor Yu. May I ask if senior's real name is Qi Yu? Qin Wentian's voice rang out in Emperor Yu's mind. His expression froze. He lowered his head and drank a mouthful of wine before slowly standing up. Everyone, you are all guests. Emperor Yu spoke, causing the gazes of everyone to turn to him. Emperor Yu slowly continued, if you all wish to cultivate God's hand, I imparted the art of God's hand to all of you, allowing you all to enter the ancient mountain and search for the cultivation method. The door was open for all of you, but none of you could cultivate it. Now, God's hand has been successfully cultivated by a junior. As immortal emperors, all of you actually stood out instead. Isn't this a little inappropriate? Emperor Yu, what do you mean? An immortal emperor from the Ying clan glanced over. I've given everyone a chance. Since all of you feel that you can't do it, my God Hand Mountain Manor has invited all of you for such a long time. Now it's time for all of you to leave. Emperor Yu stared at everyone, issuing an expulsion order. At this moment, everyone turned to Emperor Yu. Qin Wentian obtained the inheritance of God's hand. Would Emperor Yu help him as well? Chapter 1081. Everyone wasn't clear about the relationship between Emperor Yu and ancient Emperor Yi. But earlier when he was dealing with the Dongshang Heaven Emperor, he faintly displayed an innate technique that was similar to God's hand. This caused people to suspect that Emperor Yu might have cultivated God's hand as well. In addition, Emperor Yu was the protector of ancient Emperor Yi's inheritance. Clearly, the relationship between him and ancient Emperor Yi was extraordinary. In that case, it was understandable that Emperor Yu wanted to stand up for Qin Wentian. Emperor Yu, are you trying to chase us out? Zidi's eyes gleamed with violet light as he calmly spoke. Those who respect me are my guests. Before this old man has already given all of you enough face by handing over God's hand for you to cultivate. Right now the inheritor of God's hand has already appeared. Yet you guys still want to cause trouble here? Aren't you looking down on this old man a little too much? Emperor Yu coldly spoke, his voice enveloping the entire God Hand Mountain Manor. In addition, if you guys want God's hand, you can enter the ancient mountain yourself. If you want the treasures, you can go and seize them. Dealing with a little baby brat is useless to you guys. I advise you all to consider this carefully. Emperor Yu's words were logical. Some immortal emperors were hesitating. After all, there were three parties supporting Qin Wentian, now the Namhuang clan, Emperor Yu and the Emperor Qianbian. Before this, there was only the Emperor Qianbian and there was nothing to worry about. But now, with the addition of Emperor Yu, who could repel the Dongshang Heaven Emperor with a single arrow, as well as the two experts beside him, as well as the Namhuang clan, they had no choice but to consider things carefully. My Namhuang clan will protect Qin Wentian. Everyone, please consider carefully. Don't make the wedding dress for others. Nanfeng Guhong spoke at the same time. These two hegemonic characters clearly expressed their support for Qin Wentian. Some of the immortal emperors of the southern regions already had thoughts of retreating. It seemed that they wouldn't be able to participate in this matter. Would the Namhuang clan spend so much effort for an outsider? Dongshang Heaven Emperor replied. Eastern Sage, it's best if you don't interfere in the matters of the Namhuang clan. You are not qualified yet. Nanfeng Guhong couldn't be bothered to reply to him. She merely spoke with arrogance, her words causing Qin Wentian, who was beside her, to deeply sense the might of an immortal emperor of the Namhuang clan. Although Nanfeng Guhong was only the holy maiden of the Southern Phoenix matriarch, she was still a holy maiden at the immortal emperor realm, a direct descendant of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. She didn't have the Dongshang Heaven Emperor in her eyes at all. The death of my nephew and the death of Eastern Sage's son has yet to be investigated. You want us to forget everything with a single sentence? Zidi spoke again. That's right. No matter what, we have to settle this debt. The immortal emperor of the Ying clan spoke. His Ying clan wasn't afraid of the Namhuang clan at all. How ridiculous. Your nephew and the son of Eastern Sage chased after Qin Wentian. Even if Qin Wentian killed them, there's nothing wrong with that. Since their skills were inferior, who can be blamed? Let alone the fact that Qin Wentian wasn't the one who killed them. As immortal emperors, why are you guys venting your anger on Qin Wentian? Nanfeng Guhong continued. As for your Ying clan, Yingting was humiliated by Qin Wentian in the ancient mountain. As an elder, you actually stepped out? Are the descendants of the Ying clan also useless? Simply throwing the face of the ancient clans of the southern region away. Who needs an elder to step out? If it wasn't for Qin Wentian borrowing the puppet armor, Yingting would have killed him effortlessly. Yingting was pointed out and mocked. His anger burned. The humiliation he suffered at the Bronze Gate could only be washed away with the blood of Qin Wentian. Did you hear that? He used despicable methods to deal with Yingting. An immortal emperor from the Ying clan spoke. Is that so? A calm voice rang out. Qin Wentian walked out from behind Emperor Qianbian and Nanfeng Guhong. His gaze turned to Yingting as he spoke. Since Senior feels this way, allow me and Yingting to settle our grudges using the method of juniors. No immortal weapons, no puppets. If Yingting defeats me, I will follow the Ying clan and allow Senior to deal with me as you wish. The eyes of the immortal emperor from the Ying clan flashed. His gaze gave Qin Wentian a huge pressure. What an arrogant brat. The immortal emperor from the Ying clan spoke. If he lost, he would follow the Ying clan. This was akin to handing his life over to him. Yingting. He stared at Yingting as a questioning look appeared on his face. Leave it to me. Yingting radiated a terrifying rage as he stepped out. Wait a minute. Nanfeng Guhong suddenly spoke. The immortal emperor from the Ying clan glanced at her only to hear Nanfeng Guhong continuing. What should we do if Yingting is defeated? Do as you wish. Yingting replied. My Namhuang clan has no interest in you. If Qin Wentian really kills you, would your Ying clan release Qin Wentian today? If you want to kill him, you are nothing more than an empty dream. Nanfeng Guhong coldly spoke. What do you want? The immortal emperor from the Ying clan asked. Qin Wentian, what do you think? Nanfeng Guhong asked Qin Wentian. How would Junior dare to make a request of the Ying clan? If I win, I only hope that the Ying clan will leave this place and not find trouble for me in the future because of this matter. Qin Wentian smiled. Nanfeng Guhong nodded her head silently. Qin Wentian was truly calm. He knew what he should do at this moment. He obtained God's hand as well as the treasure left behind by ancient Emperor Yi. In the eyes of everyone, these treasures were living treasures. Qin Wentian should be thinking about how to resolve his future troubles instead of trying to show off his might for a moment. Do you think you can win? Yingting arrogantly spoke as he stepped out. Senior. Qin Wentian didn't look at Yingting but was staring at the immortal emperor from the Ying clan instead. I promise you. If you win, my Ying clan will leave this place and not find trouble for you in the future. The immortal emperor from the Ying clan was also very confident in Yingting's strength. Qin Wentian's cultivation base was only at the first level of immortal foundation. Although his combat prowess was tyrannical, Yingting's cultivation base was higher than his. Also, as a heaven chosen of his clan, there should be a 90% chance that he could defeat Qin Wentian. Brother Ying, please. Qin Wentian politely spoke. Yingting's eyes burned with rage. With a rumbling sound, his aura erupted forth as the might of an immortal emperor gushed forth from him. Immortal light flashed from Yingting as a thunderous roar thundered out, shaking the heavens and earth. Behind Yingting, a terrifying demonic dragon actually manifested. In an instant, the gigantic shadow of a demonic dragon appeared in the sky, peering down disdainfully at everyone, exuding a terrifying might. Demonic Dragon Immortal Foundation. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. The Namhuang clan and the Ying clan were the two hegemonic powers of the southern regions. The immortal foundations of the Namhuang clan were in the form of phoenixes, while the immortal foundations of the Ying clan were in the form of dragons. In addition, this immortal foundation demonic dragon was truly powerful. The grade of its immortal foundation was also very high, resembling a true gigantic demonic dragon. The people of the Ying clan cultivate a secret art of the ancient races, using dragons to form their immortal foundations. Their combat prowess is tyrannical and they are known as emperors among men. Although this Qin Wentian is also an extraordinary genius, in a situation where his cultivation base is too low, how can he contend against Yingting? Everyone stared at the battlefield. Qin Wentian's entire body radiated a dazzling light as a fearsome might gushed forth from him. At this instant, the crowd only saw Qin Wentian undergoing a transformation. A resplendent light radiated from him. But this wasn't immortal light. It was like an innate halo of light, a halo of the fleshly body. At this instant Qin Wentian's aura skyrocketed, akin to an innate emperor, possessing an indestructible body. Roar! A heaven-shaking roar of rage rang out. Long Tong's immortal foundation radiated a fearsome might as golden dragons swooped down. The gigantic bodies of the dragons exuded a fearsome aura of a king, wanting to devour Qin Wentian whole. Yingting stood arrogantly in the air, resembling a supreme emperor, exuding an aura that towered up into the heavens. The entire sky was covered by the demonic dragon Yingting, shaking the heavens and earth. Within Qin Wentian's body, his immortal foundation changed as numerous pictures of the true Ho appeared. His palms radiated a brilliant light as he blasted out with God's hand. The gigantic true Ho let out heaven-shaking roars as they fought against the demonic dragon. For a period of time, the heavens and earth trembled violently. Boom! Yingting stepped out. His arms transformed into dragon arms as he blasted out. Draconic roars shook the heavens as an incomparably thick demonic dragon arm swept through the heavens and earth, shattering space as it shot towards Qin Wentian. At the end of the arm, a gigantic bloody maw appeared, wanting to devour Qin Wentian whole. It wanted to devour Qin Wentian in a single gulp. The light radiating from Qin Wentian grew even more resplendent as rumbling sounds rang out. His body grew larger, resembling an indestructible god as runic light flashed around him. Die! Qin Wentian roared. He folded his arms as a draconic shadow manifested from his body. Similarly, a demonic dragon soared up into the air, colliding with the gigantic maw of the demonic dragon arm, resulting in a violent explosion. This physique. Everyone stared at the physique of Qin Wentian. A first-level immortal foundation cultivator actually had such a terrifying physique. It was simply an indestructible body, akin to the body of a myriad of laws. This was too terrifying. Many people had a feeling that if someone at the same level as Qin Wentian attacked Qin Wentian, that person would definitely be killed by Qin Wentian's physique. The immortal emperors of the Ying clan frowned. The combat prowess of this Qin Wentian was simply too overwhelming. His aura was immense, like a descendant of a saint beast. He was like a descendant of a divinity. Although your combat prowess is strong, you still have to die. Yingting roared in rage. Instantly, the roars of dragons rang out as numerous terrifying greater demons appeared in the air, staring down at Qin Wentian with disdain. The killing might of the innate techniques of the Ying clan was extremely terrifying. Die for me! Yingting roared. 10,000 dragons roared as they slammed down. This 10,000 dragon slaughter contained a devouring might, an indomitable might of metal, and an incomparably violent demonic might. All these immortal law energies were infused into his immortal foundation, and when they erupted forth, how terrifying would it be? Qin Wentian's body emitted a heaven-shaking howl of rage. His strength was pushed to the extreme as powerful runic light circulated around him. His body grew larger once more, and when he stared at the overwhelming might of the 10,000 dragon slaughter, his eyes gleamed with a dazzling light. The fearsome runes on his body transformed into an incomparably gigantic shadow of a Xuanwu divine turtle, enveloping Qin Wentian. Numerous demonic dragons slammed down, causing the shadow of the Xuanwu divine turtle to tremble violently. However, the attacks didn't manage to break through it. This caused everyone to be deeply shocked at how terrifying Qin Wentian's physique was. How strong was his defense? Boom! Qin Wentian's body grew larger and larger. With a thunderous roar, terrifying great rocks manifested from his body, tearing apart the heavens and earth, wanting to destroy everything. His palm blasted out, causing the sky to change color as the space around him was destroyed. Yingting's expression drastically changed. He unceasingly unleashed terrifying attacks, but all of them were destroyed under the might of that terrifying palm. Not only that, a terrifying black-colored ancient halberd of destruction appeared in his opponent's hand, capable of destroying everything. Finally, Yingting felt the sky turning dark. The gigantic palm slammed down. causing cracks to appear on his immortal foundation as his body was flung through the air. Chapter 1082. Bang! Ingting's body slammed into the ground as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. The dragon phantom in the air vanished as his immortal foundation retracted back into his body. His aura fluctuated wildly as his countenance turned ashen. Defeated. Ingting was defeated. Before this, Qin Wentian used a puppet to humiliate him. That couldn't be considered a true battle. But now they fought openly, not borrowing the power of a puppet or divine weapon. Qin Wentian jumped a realm and defeated him. He, a genius of the Ying clan, was defeated miserably under the gazes of everyone. Brother Ying's combat prowess is strong. If your cultivation base is a little higher, you might have a chance to defeat me. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, Ingting coughed out another mouthful of blood. He was so angered by Qin Wentian's words that he coughed out blood. What did he mean by only having a higher cultivation base would he have a chance to win? This was clearly an open insult. What cultivation base did he have to reach before he could win? If he was at the same cultivation level as Qin Wentian, wouldn't he be slapped to death by Qin Wentian with a single palm strike? The gazes of everyone turned to Qin Wentian. This fellow didn't contain any anger when he spoke. He didn't have the arrogance and domineering aura of Ingting. However, his words were filled with hidden daggers, causing Ingting to be angered to the point of coughing blood. However, his combat prowess was extremely terrifying. Simply a rarely seen demon-level character. His physique was perfect and flawless, akin to an innate god of war. The immortal emperor of the Ying clan also had an unsightly expression on his face. Ingting was defeated. Before this, he also felt that there was no reason for Ingting to lose, but he was indeed defeated. As an immortal emperor representing the Ying clan of the southern regions, it was impossible for him to go back on his words. This meant that he could only leave with his tail between his legs. Roar! Ingting stood up and let out a roar of humiliation. This was the second time he had been humiliated by Qin Wentian. He thought that this defeat was a great humiliation. He had lost his face in front of all the major forces. From now on, he would never be able to raise his head in the Ying clan with dignity. The humiliation of this defeat would follow him forever, and he would be pointed at by others. Ingting, the immortal emperor of the Ying clan, spoke. It's just a battle. Go back and cultivate well. In the future, you can wash away this humiliation. Ingting's eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the immortal emperor with clenched fists. Let's go back. The immortal emperor of the Ying clan calmly spoke. After that, the experts of the Ying clan gathered as they soared up into the air. Before Ingting left, his eyes were cold as he stared at Qin Wentian, his killing intent unmasked. Brother Ying, take care. Qin Wentian smiled. Ingting, who soared up into the air, let out another roar of rage as he soared into the distance. The experts of the Ying clan gradually vanished from the vision of everyone. Everyone, are you guys still not leaving? Emperor Yu glanced at everyone as he calmly spoke. I don't wish to say anything more. The ancient mountain is right there. Regardless of whether you want the god's hand or the treasures, just go ahead. Even if you guys capture Qin Wentian, it would be useless. You still have to enter the ancient mountain. If you can't enter, everything would be for naught. At this moment, the experts of the various powers already had thoughts of retreating. They knew that what Emperor Yu said was the truth, but they still felt some reluctance. They were thinking of other methods to probe Qin Wentian for information. That was the ultimate art and treasures of ancient Emperor Yi. Who wouldn't want it? Some people already turned and prepared to leave. But at this moment, Zidi continued. I don't seem to have agreed to leave. Zidi, why must you make things difficult for a junior? Emperor Yu coldly spoke. If the deaths of your son and nephew were related to him, would you still be so calm? Zidi glanced at Emperor Yu. If I want to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping my palm. None of you would be able to obstruct me. However, this seat isn't a tyrannical person. I only want to bring him away to investigate the truth. Why must you all obstruct me? If you want to put it this way, I have nothing to say. Emperor Yu stared at him and took a step forward as he calmly spoke. In that case, I'll put my words out there. Back then, Ancient Emperor Yi has shown me kindness and I'm the protector of his inheritance. Now that Qin Wentian has obtained Ancient Emperor Yi's recognition, as the protector of his inheritance, I have the responsibility to ensure his safety. You Zidi naturally can kill him, but if you dare to use your identity as an immortal emperor to bully the weak, I'm afraid it won't be as simple as the death of your nephew. Those who wanted to leave involuntarily halted when they saw Emperor Yu arguing with Zidi. Their eyes gleamed with a bright light. Could it be that Emperor Yu wanted to declare war against Zidi? And as expected, after Zidi heard this, violet light flashed as his aura intensified. He stared at Emperor Yu. Are you threatening this seat? You can understand it that way. Emperor Yu domineeringly replied. Zidi fell silent. The pressure in this space was extremely terrifying. Two immortal emperors stood facing each other, their long robes fluttering despite the absence of wind. Emperor Yu's white hair fluttered in the wind. Could it be that this reclusive immortal emperor truly had the strength to fight against a peak-stage immortal emperor like Zidi? If that's the case, wasn't Emperor Yu hiding his strength too deeply? Qin Wentian stood at the side watching everything. Since he was the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe, Emperor Yu would definitely protect him. He didn't doubt this at all. However, this Zidi was truly difficult to deal with. As a peak-stage immortal emperor in the immortal realms, there was no need to doubt that Zidi's strength was extremely powerful. Violet chi coiled around his body, causing a terrifying violet light to appear in the sky, blotting out the sun. Emperor Yu's aura also erupted forth. At this instant, a towering battle might enveloped Emperor Yu's body. An ancient battle Saint Qi gushed forth from his body, making him look like a supreme battle king. At this moment, this old man had transformed into a god of war. Just by standing there casually, he gave off a sense of supreme majesty that was above the heavens and earth. Battle Saint Art. Qin Wentian silently mused. Boom! Zidi stretched out his palm as a terrifying violet light instantly enveloped Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's body was directly grabbed by the violet light as it flew towards Zidi. Bang! Qin Wentian directly crushed the spatial talisman in his hand, as his body was instantly enveloped by spatial energy. That violet light actually managed to grab hold of the spatial energy, while Qin Wentian directly retreated far away. Humph! Zidi coldly snorted. How could such a petty trick be used before an immortal emperor? The violet light instantly shot towards Qin Wentian. Although they were very far apart, Qin Wentian's body was still grabbed back. But at this moment, Emperor Yu appeared before Zidi. He blasted out with a palm imprint, causing this entire space to crumble. With Zidi at the center, the entire space was sucked in as everything was destroyed. His violet eyes gleamed with a terrifying violet light as he similarly blasted out with his palm. Both of their palms collided together as a bolt of lightning shot down from the heavens. For those with weaker cultivation bases, they only felt their souls trembling. Beneath their feet, the earth crumbled as a boundlessly deep crevice appeared. The earth was split into two. The two of them were enveloped by a terrifying light, not allowing the fluctuations of their attacks to dissipate. If not, half of the people here would have already been killed. Boom! Another violet light descended as the two of them actually vanished from sight. The place they were standing at earlier was completely destroyed. In the air, rumbling sounds rang out as a destructive light appeared, enveloping the entire space. The light from the battle was like a divine radiance, creating a scene of destruction. The silhouettes of Emperor Yu and the Violet Emperor could be faintly seen within. Rumble! Another few bolts of lightning shot down from the heavens. Within a radius of 1,000 miles, many places were struck by the lightning. Not a single inch of soil remained as fissures appeared on the ground. How terrifying was the might of an emperor-level battle! Not only that, this was a battle between peak-stage immortal emperors. Those immortal emperors inclined their heads, their gazes piercing through the destructive light as they stared up at the sky, feeling shock in their hearts. Emperor Yu was actually so powerful? He could even contend against Zidi. Boom! The two of them suddenly appeared in the God Hand Mountain manner, standing at their original positions. It was as though they had never moved at all, as though the battle earlier didn't happen at all. Now Zidi should be able to value my words more. Emperor Yu stared at Zidi as he calmly spoke. What innate technique did you cultivate? Ziti asked. Both of them were extremely calm. They didn't seem like opponents from the terrifying battle earlier. The innate technique Emperor Yi cultivated back then. Emperor Yu replied. The most famous technique of ancient Emperor Yi was none other than God's hand. As for his other abilities, countless years have passed, who would know? What he used was naturally the battle saint art, warring against the heavens and earth, destroying everything in its path, nurturing itself through battle, growing stronger the more it fought. Your luck is truly not bad at all. Ziti's gaze landed on Qin Wentian. The first time, the Chongqing the Great refused to hand Qin Wentian over. The second time, the Namhuang clan refused to hand Qin Wentian over. The third time, he personally came here with Emperor Yu's protection. He, Ziti, has never been so troublesome to capture a junior before. Senior Ziti is too serious. Qin Wentian replied. Let's hope your luck will always be this good. Ziti spoke. With a flick of his sleeves, Qin Wentian was directly flung through the air, slamming into a pavilion. His body trembled as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Before immortal emperors, Immortal Foundation experts had no way to resist at all. It would be as easy as flipping his palm if he wanted to kill them. This made Qin Wentian even more certain that his earlier caution was correct. Ziti and the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had no idea that Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu were killed by him. I also hope that Senior's luck won't always be this bad. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at Ziti. Blood flowed from the corners of his lips as a demonic smile appeared on his face. Ziti's men had offended Zi Daoyang and Zi Yunwu. Ziti's eyes flashed as he stared at Qin Wentian. Killing intent flickered in his eyes, causing Qin Wentian to feel a bone-piercing coldness in his heart. Ziti, pay attention to your status. Nanfeng Guhong walked towards Qin Wentian as she spoke. Don't forget my words. Since you can kill him, I can kill your men as well. Emperor Yu's expression turned heavy. Ziti stepped out and spoke. You guys stay in the ancient mountain and wait for that bronze-masked man to come out. Kill him without mercy. Yes. Ziti's men trembled as they replied. Luckily Ziti spared them. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor all had unsightly expressions on their faces. Even Ziti had retreated. There was no hope for them. Qin Wentian's life was truly tough. Right now there were many immortal emperors supporting him. Chapter 1083. Among these immortal emperors, the one who wanted to kill Qin Wentian the most was the Xian Emperor, followed by the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. The son of the Xian Emperor, Xian Xing, truly died in the hands of Qin Wentian. Although Dongsheng Ting died, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had no idea that Dongsheng Ting also died in the hands of Qin Wentian. Hence, his hatred wasn't as deep as the Xian Emperor's. But although the Xian Emperor was also an immortal emperor, he was one of the weaker ones. His strength couldn't be compared to the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Emperor Qianbian. Over here there were Nanfeng Guhong, Emperor Qianbian, Emperor Yu and Qin Wentian. Any one of these immortal emperors were stronger than him. What could he, the Xian Emperor, do? Kill Qin Wentian? Even Ziti failed to do this. How could he dare to do it? Although he hated, he could only endure it temporarily. Qin Wentian could sense the killing intent in the eyes of the Xian Emperor. If there was a chance, the Xian Emperor would definitely not hesitate to take his life. You guys guard the exit of the ancient mountain together with Ziti's men. If that mysterious man comes out, kill him without mercy. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor spoke. After that, he coldly glanced at Qin Wentian and soared through the air. He naturally understood that the mysterious man in the bronze mask wouldn't dare to come out. After killing his son, Dongsheng Ting, as well as the nephew of Ziti, the mysterious man would most probably hide in there for a very long time. The Xian Emperor wouldn't stay here forever, but he would definitely send people to guard the exit. Brother Qin, remember to be a guest of my Jiang clan in the future. Jiang Ziyu calmly spoke. After that, the people of the Jiang clan departed. Ziti and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor left one after another. It was meaningless for the others to stay behind. The people from the various major powers started to disperse, feeling disappointed. Since they couldn't enter the ancient mountain, they had no fate with God's hand and the treasures. Seems like they could only wait for Qin Wentian's cultivation base to grow stronger before they enter the ancient mountain and snatch the treasures from Qin Wentian. This seemed to be the only solution. As expected, Qin Wentian discovered that although the major powers had left, they still ordered some of their subordinates to guard the entrance of the ancient mountain. Qin Wentian knew that from today onwards, this ancient mountain would be closely watched. Especially for him, the moment he entered the ancient mountain, he would instantly attract attention. He also understood that these people had no way to obtain the treasures and temporarily wouldn't pay attention to him. But the moment he entered the ancient mountain to obtain the treasures of ancient Emperor Yi, another storm of blood would surely ensue. Looks like there's going to be some trouble. Qin Wentian stared at the guards outside the ancient mountain. In the future, those immortal emperors might even order their subordinates to enter the ancient mountain. If that's the case, it would be inconvenient for them to move around. Are you all right? Nam Huang Yunqi walked to the side of Qin Wentian as she asked. Qin Wentian wiped away the traces of blood at the corner of his lips. He smiled, "Don't worry about it. What I gained back is far greater than what I paid." Nam Huang Yunqi rolled her eyes at Qin Wentian. However, she knew that Qin Wentian was speaking the truth. This time to Qin Wentian the gains were far greater than what he paid. In addition, Zidi's nephew Zi Yunwu and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's son, Dongsheng Ting, were both plotted against by Qin Wentian. Even though he suffered some humiliation, he still profited. If they knew the truth, most probably Zidi and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor would go berserk. Many thanks for senior's help. Qin Wentian bowed to Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu stroked his white beard as he smiled at Qin Wentian. This fellow really knew how to act, but this was for the best. He naturally understood that the secret of the Battle Saint tribe couldn't be exposed. Qin Wentian didn't say anything about it, and pretended that he didn't know about him. It was only because of ancient Emperor Yi that the two of them had some connection. It's nothing much. After you inherited ancient Emperor Yi's secret art, you offended many major characters. In the future you have to be more careful when you do things. Don't let ancient Emperor Yi's secret art be lost. Emperor Yi persuaded. Junior understands. Qin Wentian nodded. Qin Wentian, what do you plan to do next? Nam Huang Yunqi asked in a low voice. Now that he had already obtained God's hand, she didn't know what plans Qin Wentian had. Let's return to the immortal Qianbian Gate. Qin Wentian smiled. This time around we have been out for quite a long time. I will go back and take a look before entering closed-door seclusion for a period of time. Right now, Di Tian was cultivating in the Battle Saint tribe. He was preparing to enter closed-door seclusion together with Di Tian, cultivating both sides. Also, the cultivation of God's hand would be of great help to his cultivation base. In that case we will part ways. Take care. Nam Huang Yunqi smiled. Take care. Qin Wentian nodded. Namfeng Shunga also smiled. Qin Wentian, if you are free, come to the Nam Huang clan as a guest. I will play a song for you to enjoy. Being able to enjoy the music of a beauty like Shunga, it would be a wonderful thing in the world. Qin Wentian smiled. We haven't parted so soon. Don't be in such a hurry to bid farewell. We will borrow the teleportation array of the Nam Huang clan to return. Emperor Qianbian suddenly spoke, his words causing Qin Wentian, Nam Huang Yunqi and the others to start. They glanced at each other as everyone laughed. This place was the southern regions of the Immortal Realms and was extremely far away from the eastern Sage 13 prefectures. Earlier, they headed to the southern Phoenix Immortal City and borrowed the teleportation array to return. Just nice, we can take care of each other on the way back. Nanfeng Guhong smiled and nodded. After that, everyone bid farewell to Emperor Yu and departed. Not long after, the God Hand Mountain Manor quietened down once again. Many cracks could be seen on the ground. Emperor Yu stroked his beard and smiled. It's quiet again. Yeah, it's quiet now. Sometimes I feel like going back to take a look. An old man beside Emperor Yu spoke in a low voice. Don't think too much about it. Emperor Yu stared at the sky. Maybe, only when the Battle Saint tribe returned to their former peak would their tribe be able to walk out openly and roam the world. This required the hard work of many generations. The Saint Lord of this generation, Qin Wentian, was still young, but his talent was outstanding. In fact, he was even more outstanding compared to ancient Emperor Yi back then. It was unknown how far he would be able to reach in the future. In the Cloud Prefecture, at the Immortal Qianbian Gate, The Emperor Qianbian and the others have returned. Bai Wuya and several disciples from the heavenly talisman realm followed them to the immortal Qianbian gate. This caused Qin Wentian to feel extremely puzzled. Senior brother, are the disciples from the heavenly talisman realm going to enter the immortal Qianbian gate? Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to Bai Wuya. Bai Wuya nodded lightly. Wentian, it has been a long time since you returned to the heavenly talisman realm. Right now, the heavenly talisman realm has issued an important mission, and it's a mission that requires several disciples from the heavenly talisman realm to work together to complete. The disciples from the heavenly talisman realm, who came to the immortal Qianbian gate, are all participants for this mission. What mission? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he continued to transmit his voice. Unify the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures. Bai Wuya's voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind, causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble slightly. Back then, he participated in the once 100 years immortal banquet held by the Dongshengshan Gate and obtained the position of champion. At that time, the Emperor of Qianbian appeared and requested for 6 prefectures from the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. However, how could the power of the Emperor of Qianbian be compared to the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, who had governed the 13 prefectures for so many years? The Emperor of Qianbian would be devoured sooner or later. In fact, the 6 prefectures that the immortal Qianbian Gate requested for from the powers of the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures were all submissive on the surface, but they still chose not to join the immortal Qianbian Gate, because they knew that the immortal Qianbian Gate had no advantage at all, and would be destroyed sooner or later. Right now, the heavenly talisman realm was slowly infiltrating the immortal Qianbian Gate, aiding the Emperor of Qianbian. Everything was so logical, it was like the immortal Qianbian Gate was growing stronger bit by bit. Everything happened so naturally, but it seemed like a plan that had been prepared for a very long time. From the very start, maybe the heavenly talisman realm was already preparing to enter the immortal realms, gradually moving from the shadows to the light. This is truly a huge mission. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice. I'm afraid this mission will take up a lot of time. Naturally, after the mission is issued, only immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are allowed to accept it. There's no need for immortal emperors to accept it. Also, there's a limit to the number of people who can accept it. Right now, the number of slots isn't full yet. I've already reserved some slots for the few of you. Do you want to join? Bai Wuya stared ahead as he slowly walked forward. The others didn't know that the two of them were conversing through voice transmissions. What's the reward for this long mission? Qin Wentian smiled. Unifying the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures, such a mission could definitely be considered a supreme tier mission. It was like establishing an immortal empire, a peak tier mission. Also, it was the style of the heavenly talisman realm. There's no mandatory requirement and one could freely choose to accept it. When the mission is completed, those who are still alive will receive a special reward. The details have yet to be announced, but the special rewards of the heavenly talisman realm have never disappointed us before. Bai Wuya had a smile on his face. Senior brother, what role will you play in this mission? Qin Wentian asked. The commander will assist the Emperor of Qianbian. Because immortal emperors can't participate in this war, the future battles between the immortal Qianbian Gate and the Dongshengshan Gate will be led by me. Bai Wuya spoke. I'm in. Qin Wentian smiled. Unifying the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures, how could Qin Wentian reject such a mission? After the battle in the particle world, he had already vowed to destroy the Dongshengshan Gate and kill the Eastern Sage immortal realms. This was his goal. Right, I will ask Mingchen. Bai Wuya spoke. Since you have accepted this mission, you can do whatever you want normally. But once there's a summons, you have to be present no matter what. Understood. Qin Wentian nodded. Since he had accepted this mission, he naturally had to work hard to accomplish it. How could it be possible for him to be like a field of loose sand when facing such a huge mission? However, you better focus on your cultivation. Even if there's a war in the near future, there's no need for you to participate. Bai Wuya spoke. After all, Qin Wentian's cultivation base was still on the weaker side. If these two powers were to fight, it would be akin to an immortal war. For those with lower cultivation bases, it would be useless for them to participate unless it was a minor mission. If it wasn't important, Bai Wuya wouldn't waste Qin Wentian's time. Everyone dispersed. Qin Wentian and Purgatory returned to the palace they were staying in. A snow-white silhouette dashed over, but it didn't lunge towards Qin Wentian. Instead, it dove into Purgatory's embrace. Sadly, Purgatory didn't appreciate it, and tossed it away with a look of disdain on her face. Little Purgatory doesn't miss Bao Bao at all. Little rascal was tossed onto the ground as he spoke in a depressed manner. Scram! Purgatory glared at Little Rascal. This little lecher was so mischievous. Upon seeing the two of them fooling around, Qin Wentian couldn't help but to laugh. In front of them, the silhouette of a supreme beauty appeared. Her robes fluttered in the wind, her expression as gentle as water as she stared at them. Qin Wentian stepped out, instantly appearing beside Emo Qingcheng. He stretched out his arms and embraced her slender waist as he lightly kissed her forehead. Qingcheng, I'm back. Emo Qingcheng nodded lightly. Little Purgatory, look at how good the relationship between Wentian and Qingcheng is. Let's hug too. Little rascal floated in front of Purgatory as he stretched out his little paw. Purgatory glared at him and walked past him, directly ignoring him. Little Purgatory, you don't know love. Little rascal sighed. Qin Wentian and Emo Qingcheng glanced over as they both laughed. This little rascal was truly a demonic genius. Chapter 1084. The immortal realms have existed for countless years in the river of time, witnessing the rise and fall of generations. In the perspective of the history of the immortal realms, even if it was thousands or tens of thousands of years, it was merely a tiny part of the river of time. The deeds of an ordinary person, when placed in the annals of history, was like a drop in the ocean. Only those ancient emperors would know of their existence even after countless years. Other than this, even for immortal emperors, when placed in the history of the immortal realms, they were insignificant, let alone ordinary people. Time flowed by, 7 years passed in the blink of an eye. The immortal realms were the same as before, there were no changes at all. But during these 7 years, Qin Wentian lived a very fulfilling life. He and his avatar Ditian entered closed-door seclusion at the same time, breaking through to the second level of Immortal Foundation. He even sent people to the Evergreen Kingdom to gather news about Qing'er, wanting to know if Qing'er was doing well or not. He learned that after Qing'er broke through to Immortal Foundation, she was taken away by her master GD. For the next few years, he and Qingcheng roamed many particle worlds, seeing the different sceneries and comprehending many things. And during these 7 years, the Dongshengshan Gate would often launch probing attacks against the Immortal Qianbian Gate. Both sides suffered casualties, but the Immortal Qianbian Gate's losses were much greater. Their front lines kept shrinking while the Dongshengshan Gate pressed closer and closer, as though a war was brewing. They might launch an all-out attack on the Immortal Qianbian Gate at any moment. Before the Dongshengshan Gate, which had countless years of foundation, although the Immortal Qianbian Gate had developed very quickly, they were still weak. The major powers of the 13 prefectures all looked down on the Immortal Qianbian Gate. As the headquarters of the Immortal Qianbian Gate, the Cloud Prefecture city was governed very well. The Immortal Qianbian Gate controlled this city very well, and set down many rules, wanting to turn the Cloud Prefecture city into a flourishing city, like the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. However, this wasn't something that could be accomplished in a day. Without thousands of years of accumulation, it was basically impossible. In the cultivation grounds of the Immortal Qianbian Gate, Qin Wentian was in a treasured cauldron. He stared at Emo Qingcheng as he spoke. Qingcheng, your physique has already been tempered to a very high level. I want you to try out the power of the sacred luminance. If you are unable to endure it, I will bring you out immediately. During these 7 years, Emo Qingcheng and Qin Wentian's friends didn't slack off in their cultivation. Before this, they were restricted by various conditions in the particle world. But things were different now. Qin Wentian had top-tier cultivation arts, immortal rank medicinal pills, and powerful body refinement arts to temper them, improving their physiques. However, the last step required the sacred luminance to remove all impurities from their bodies, allowing them to undergo a perfect metamorphosis. Emo Qingcheng nodded lightly. The baptism of the sacred luminance doesn't matter if one's cultivation base is high or low. It's a test of one's physique and will. Qingcheng, do your best. If you really can't endure it, you can try again in the future. Qin Wentian was still worried. I know. Emo Qingqing stuck out her tongue at Qin Wentian. A mischievous look could be seen on her face. Okay, you can come down now. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded when he saw Emo Qingqing's expression. After that, Emo Qingqing's body slowly descended into the treasured cauldron. Vizi. Emo Qingqing's body entered the cauldron, as she was instantly bathed in the light of the sacred luminance. Arg! A low-sounding scream rang out from Emo Qingqing's mouth, causing Qin Wentian's body to stiffen as he walked closer to Emo Qingqing. Don't! Emo Qingqing screamed at Qin Wentian. The light of the sacred luminance gushed into her body, wanting to destroy it. She gritted her teeth, and although she wanted to endure it with all her might, she couldn't help but to let out cries of pain, as though she was enduring a terrifying torture. Qingqing. Qin Wentian clenched his fists tightly, feeling pain in his heart. It was Emo Qingqing who took the initiative to request to bathe in the sacred luminance earlier because she was very anxious. She saw that the cultivation bases of those from the immortal Qianbian Gate were so strong, and Qin Wentian was getting stronger and stronger as well. She was extremely anxious in her heart. Qin Wentian knew that although she didn't say it out loud, she was actually very eager to catch up to him. She was extremely hard-working in her cultivation, and other than the time she spent with him, she would spend all her time cultivating. I can endure it. Emo Qingqing's white dress fluttered in the wind. Her body felt as though it was about to be torn apart. She stared at Qin Wentian. Her gaze was as resolute as ever. Her dainty fists were tightly clenched as her entire body trembled unceasingly. Qin Wentian nodded heavily. Being able to endure the pain in his heart was already an extremely good thing. Qin Wentian did his best to conceal the pain in his heart, forcing himself to maintain a smile on his face as he encouraged Emo Qingqing. Upon seeing his smile, Emo Qingqing's beautiful countenance also smiled, but her body trembled even more violently. Arg! Even when Qin Wentian was bathing in the sacred luminance, he didn't feel that time was passing so slowly. When he saw Emo Qingqing enduring the unbearable pain, he felt as though his heart was being sliced by a knife. There were many times when he wanted to carry Emo Qingqing out, but she would always use her gaze to stop him. Qin Wentian could even sense that there were many times when Emo Qingqing was on the verge of collapsing. This conviction was none other than him, Qin Wentian. After what felt like an extremely long time, Qin Wentian was already beside Emo Qingqing. He didn't use any strength in his arms as he hugged her. Crystalline tears could be seen at the corners of Emo Qingqing's eyes. She was truly in pain. This pain was like she was enduring the torture of purgatory. But for the sake of Qin Wentian, she had to persevere. Finally, the effects of the sacred luminance began to take effect, tempering her body, causing every part of Emo Qingqing's body to undergo a miraculous transformation. When everything ended, Emo Qingqing stared at Qin Wentian and smiled. Qin Wentian carried her out of the treasured cauldron, hugging her tightly. I've succeeded. Emo Qingqing smiled sweetly. After that, she fainted in Qin Wentian's embrace. Although she had endured the most unbearable pain, her will was already on the verge of collapse. She had exhausted all of her mental energy and could finally relax at this moment. She had no way to persevere any longer. You've succeeded. Qin Wentian stared at the fainted Emo Qingqing, but he still hugged her tightly. He bent over and kissed Emo Qingqing's forehead before he carried her away. On the streets of the Cloud Prefecture city, two beautiful maidens could be seen. They were strolling around and would occasionally stop when they saw something they liked. Sister Luo Huan, what do you think Wentian and Qingqing have been doing these few days? I still wanted to ask them to accompany us to relax. These two maidens were none other than Qin Wentian's elder sister Qin Yao and senior apprentice sister Luo Huan. In Luo Huan's embrace, little rascal was happily lying there, as though he was enjoying himself very much. Maybe they are making babies. Luo Huan giggled, her words causing Qin Yao's face to turn red. Sister Luo Huan was still not acting properly. Right now, the cultivation bases of these two maidens had already stepped into the celestial phenomenon realm. If they were in a particle world, they would definitely be considered as extremely young celestial phenomenon ascendants. Hence, their countenances were still as youthful and beautiful as before. In fact, Their demeanor was even more beautiful now that their horizons had been broadened. Come, let's go to a tea house to rest. Luo Huan spoke to Qin Yao when she saw a tea house in front of them. The two of them entered the tea house and found a good seat. They ordered a pot of tea as they stared at the people below. The immortal realms are truly too flourishing. Just a street here is even longer than my Sky Harmony City. Qin Yao smiled as she stared at the scenery below. You still remember Sky Harmony City? Luo Huan's beautiful eyes gleamed. Back then I met Wentian there. At that time he was still a little fellow. Who would have thought that our lives would undergo such a huge change? Yeah, these years are like a dream. Who knows, we might even have a chance to become immortals in the future. Qin Yao smiled sweetly. In the past, she thought that heavenly dipper sovereigns were already high and mighty existences. Who would have thought that she had already broken through to the celestial phenomenon realm? Two misses, can we have a cup of tea together? At this moment, a voice drifted over from the side. Luo Huan and Qin Yao turned their gazes over, only to see a few young men with extraordinary auras seated there. One of them had a demonic gleam in his eyes as he stared at Luo Huan and Qin Yao. No. Qin Yao wanted to reject, but the demonic gleam in the eyes of the young man grew even more demonic. Her gaze gradually turned blurry as she nodded her head. Sure. Luo Huan frowned as she called out, Qin Yao. As she spoke, she turned her gaze over. After which, her expression turned the same as Qin Yao's. Her beautiful eyes lost their original luster as she lightly nodded her head. You guys can come over. Many thanks to the two misses. The few young men walked over to the table where Qin Yao and Luo Huan were seated. One of them asked, May I ask for the name of this young miss? And what is your relationship with Qin Wentian? My name is Qin Yao, Wentian is my younger brother. Qin Yao replied in a daze. My name is Luo Huan. I'm the senior apprentice sister of Qin Wentian. Roar! Little rascal felt that something was wrong. A low-sounding roar rang out from its mouth as it stared at the young man in front of it. Only now did that young man notice little rascal. The look in his eyes grew even more demonic. Busy. Little rascal abruptly lunged forward. Abruptly, sharp claws appeared on its body as it slashed towards the head of the young man. The eyes of the young man gleamed with a terrifying light. In an instant, little rascal felt as though he was trapped in a dimension, unable to extricate himself. Vile beast! A voice rang out in his mind. Little rascal howled in rage as his body expanded in size. A rumbling aura gushed forth, causing the entire tea house to collapse. The other two young men directly brought Luo Huan and Qin Yao away with lightning speed. Trapped. The young man in front of little rascal roared in a low voice. Little rascal felt as though he was trapped in a mental prison. He frenziedly attacked, yet he couldn't break free. He unceasingly let out heaven-shaking roars, causing a commotion. That young man transformed into a gust of wind and sped away. Evidently, he knew that the situation wasn't good. The pet he had neglected was actually a demonic immortal. From afar, the patrolling experts of the immortal Qinbian Gate sped over with extreme speed. During this period of time, the immortal Qinbian Gate had been doing their best to govern the Cloud Prefecture, and there were very few disturbances. Roar! A heaven-shaking roar rang out. Little rascal struggled free from the mental prison of the other party, floating in the air. However, the other party had already vanished. Within the immortal Qinbian Gate, Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness as his heart sank. He could sense little rascal's telepathy. He had sent little rascal to follow Luo Huan and Qin Yao because he wanted to protect them, but now it seemed that something had happened. Chapter 1085. Within the Cloud Prefecture City, the experts of the immortal Qinbian Gate started to move, sealing the entire city. In fact, they even imposed a flight ban, forbidding anyone from flying in the air. The ones who were captured were Qin Yao and Luo Huan, the elder sister and senior apprentice sister of Qin Wentian. Also, Qin Wentian had always been known as the personal disciple of the Emperor Qinbian. This was no small matter, and there was an 80% to 90% chance that the Dongshengshan Gate was the one who did this. During these years, the immortal Qinbian Gate and Dongshengshan Gate had always been in conflict. However, as the headquarters of the immortal Qinbian Gate, The Cloud Prefecture City had never been provoked by the Dongshangshan Gate before. If it was the Dongshangshan Gate, this would be the first time. Extreme times naturally required extreme measures. For a period of time, many immortal legions were patrolling the skies. Other than the people of the Immortal Champion Gate, no one was allowed to fly in the air. The people of the Cloud Prefecture City were all very cooperative. The Immortal Champion Gate had been building a flourishing capital city for the past few years. Everyone in the Cloud Prefecture City knew of this, and since such a thing happened, they naturally had to investigate it. Sadly, the influence of the Immortal Champion Gate in the Cloud Prefecture City was still not strong enough. If something like this happened in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, the Namhuang clan would be able to capture the culprit in the shortest time possible. At this moment, Qin Wentian stood in the airspace above the Cloud Prefecture City. Little Rascal's body grew larger, exuding a terrifying baleful aura. You are saying that the culprit is proficient in illusory techniques and can cause people to lose themselves? Qin Wentian frowned as he listened to Little Rascal's narration. Little Rascal replied, "They wanted to bring people away without anyone noticing. They might not have noticed me earlier. In that case, if you weren't here, Sister Qin Yao and senior apprentice sister would have taken the initiative to leave with them without anyone noticing." Qin Wentian's face was livid. Yunzhou City was under tight control now, but if the other party had the ability to confuse people, they could indeed take people out of Yunzhou City without a sound. Yes, but my roar alerted the patrolling guards. They shouldn't have left the Cloud Prefecture City yet. Little Rascal blamed himself. "It's all my fault." "It's not your fault. Since the other party dared to sneak into the Cloud State City, it was only a matter of time before they got into trouble," Qin Wentian said faintly. Unless Qin Yao and the rest never stepped out of the Immortal Champion Gate, there would come a time when they would be plotted against by the other party. In the air, there were countless experts from the Immortal Champion Gate flying through the air. Occasionally, there would be immortal kings passing by, using their powerful immortal sense to scan the surroundings. However, they still couldn't find the silhouettes of Qin Yao and Luo Huan. "Young Lord Qin," an immortal king stepped over, calling out to Qin Wentian. "Senior, what's the situation?" Qin Wentian asked. If the other party didn't leave the Cloud Prefecture City, they must have some sort of special treasure that can block off immortal sense. "But young Lord Qin, don't worry. Since they dared to act in the Cloud Prefecture City, even if we have to flip the entire city upside down, we will definitely find them." A cold light flashed in the eyes of the Immortal King. The Dongshangshan Gate sent Immortal Foundation experts to act because they knew that Immortal Kings were too big of a target. They would be targeted the moment they entered the Cloud Prefecture City. I will have to trouble Senior then," Qin Wentian thanked. The reason why the Immortal Champion Gate could seal the Cloud Prefecture City so quickly was naturally because of him. They knew that Little Rascal was his demonic beast, hence, they immediately acted after the incident. At this moment, in an ordinary-looking courtyard in the Cloud Prefecture City, a formless energy enveloped the entire space, sealing off the probing of immortal sense. This courtyard was hidden in the midst of a chain of buildings. No matter how many experts the Immortal Champion Gate had, it was impossible for them to search through every single building. Given how vast the immortal realms were, with a population of over 10 billion in the Cloud Prefecture City, it was as difficult as ascending the heavens if they wanted to use their eyes to search for people. In the room, the young men who appeared in the tea house earlier were all there. Their expressions were all extremely unsightly to behold. "Senior brother, what should we do?" someone asked the person who acted against Qin Yao and Luo Huan earlier. "Damn, we neglected a demonic beast." A person beside him spoke in a depressed tone. If it wasn't for that demonic beast, they would have already left the Cloud Prefecture City by the time the people from the Immortal Champion Gate discovered them. "Let's wait and see. If it's not impossible, we can only give up on them." That person turned his gaze to the two beauties in front of him, Qin Yao and Luo Huan. At this moment they had already regained consciousness. Their countenances were pale, but they didn't dare to move recklessly. The strength of these people was much stronger compared to them. Earlier when Qin Yao wanted to flee, her robes were torn apart. Right now her fragrant shoulders were completely exposed as she hugged tightly against Luo Huan. In that case, doesn't that mean that the character master instructed us to capture has failed? One of them was filled with reluctance. It wasn't easy for us to capture the kin of Qin Wentian and use them to lure Qin Wentian out. In fact, we only need to hand them over to Qin Wentian. That would already be considered a great merit. Master would definitely reward us. We won't be able to bring them away. That senior brother spoke. How could he not know that capturing these two women was a great merit? Their master had many disciples and many of them were hidden in the Cloud Prefecture city. It wasn't easy for them to capture these two women. Who would want to give up on this opportunity? That's true. Everyone understood. Right now, there were people from the Immortal Champion Gate everywhere. Seems like Qin Wentian regarded these two women with great importance. Such beautiful beauties, should we kill them? That junior brother asked. Wait, let me ask first. That senior brother stared at the two of them as a strange light flashed in his eyes. He then turned to Qin Yao and asked, Do you have any immortal sense on you? Qin Yao bit her lips, wanting to maintain her rationality, but she couldn't control her emotions. She replied yes. The eyes of the senior brother flashed. He turned his head and stared at his junior brother. We can't kill them or our identities will be exposed. What should we do then? Knock them out and release them? Are we going to leave just like that? Senior brother, we spent so much effort and hid for so many years before we finally found an opportunity. I can't accept this. What's there to be unwilling about? No matter what, these two are rare beauties. Let's make it up to you guys. That senior brother spoke, causing Luo Huan and Qin Yao to turn pale. Qin Yao, kill me quickly. Luo Huan transmitted her voiceover. Qin Yao's expression changed as she stared at Luo Huan. Quick. Luo Huan's voice rang out in Qin Yao's mind. Qin Yao's body trembled. Yet that senior brother continued. Do you want them to voluntarily submit, or do you want to stimulate them? We will do it ourselves. That senior brother's eyes gleamed as he stared at Luo Huan's ample bosom. His senior brother was right. Since they couldn't bring them away and couldn't kill them, they had to make up for their losses. I choose this beauty. That junior brother pointed his finger at Luo Huan. Luo Huan was even more alluring, causing the hearts of men to stir. I choose her. There were some who liked pure and innocent girls like Qin Yao. Conquering such a beauty would surely be an extremely joyful experience. Bzzz. A beam of light flashed as Luo Huan's energy condensed into a dagger, causing the expression of that junior brother to change. However, Luo Huan's dagger was already piercing towards him. Sister Luo Huan. Qin Yao exclaimed in shock, only to see that just as Luo Huan's dagger was about to touch her chest, it was grabbed by a gigantic hand. With a twist, a kacha sound rang out from Luo Huan's wrist as the dagger dissipated. Fresh blood flowed from her chest, but this strike wasn't fatal. What a hot beauty! You want to stimulate your immortal sense? Do you think we don't exist? That junior brother grabbed Luo Huan's hands and pinned them against the wall. Staring at that exquisite figure, she was incomparably beautiful, causing an intense fire to burn in the hearts of those who looked at her. If you dare to touch Sister Luo Huan, my younger brother will definitely make sure you die without a burial ground. Qin Yao's eyes were incomparably cold as she stared at that junior brother. You better worry about yourself first. Someone walked towards Qin Yao. Qin Yao was forced to retreat unceasingly as her countenance turned pale. The person who grabbed Luo Huan glanced over as he coldly laughed. After which, a radiant smile appeared on Luo Huan's face as she spoke. Why must you be so crude? If you like it, let me serve you. Staring at the seductive smile on Luo Huan's face, that junior brother's entire body turned even hotter. He spoke in a low voice, You are truly a vixen. Sadly, I don't believe you. After speaking, he placed one of his hands on Luo Huan's shoulder and tore her clothes apart, revealing her snow-white skin. Ah! Qin Yao let out a scream as she was forced into a corner. Her face was as pale as a sheet of paper, without any trace of blood. She had already been ordered to hand over all of her storage rings, so she didn't have any strength to resist. Sister Luo Huan. Qin Yao's voice was filled with sobs. Qin Yao, it's fine. Luo Huan consoled. A cold glint flashed in her eyes as a terrifying surge of energy ravaged her body. What are you doing? That junior brother's countenance changed. Luo Huan's energy gushed out from her body and instantly, she coughed out a mouthful of blood. All her meridians in Yuanfu were on the verge of shattering. A strand of immortal sense descended. It was none other than the silhouette of Qin Wentian. That junior brother retreated with an extremely ugly expression on his face as he stared at the strand of immortal sense. Madman! That junior brother roared in rage and blasted out a palm strike towards Luo Huan. However, he only saw Qin Wentian's immortal sense blocking in front of Luo Huan. Qin Wentian blasted out a palm strike, but the immortal sense was still blasted away. Junior brother, let's go. That senior brother instantly fled, not even turning his head back. Once their identities were exposed, they would be faced with a life and death crisis. They couldn't afford to waste even a single second. They had to leave with the fastest speed possible. The other junior brother glanced at Qin Yao with reluctance in his eyes. He similarly blasted out a destructive palm strike, slamming Qin Yao into the wall and coughing out fresh blood. Although her immortal sense blocked many attacks for her, Qin Yao still fainted from the impact. Those people no longer cared about Qin Yao and Luo Huan as they fled in a frenzy. Although they only needed a few moments to erase Qin Wentian's immortal sense and kill Qin Yao and Luo Huan, they understood how dangerous this situation was. Senior sister. Qin Wentian's immortal sense embraced Luo Huan's body. Right now, Luo Huan was covered in blood and was on the verge of death. Qin Wentian's fists were clenched tightly as his killing intent towered up into the sky. Little fellow, senior sister is fine. Luo Huan squeezed out a smile. Senior sister, why are you so foolish? Qin Wentian knew what Luo Huan had done. She activated the immortal sense in her body to destroy herself. This was no different from suicide, and almost no one would do such a thing. For those with extraordinary statuses, if they knew that there was a strand of immortal sense in their bodies, they would still have a sliver of hope. Senior sister, how can you allow those people to touch you? Luo Huan's breathing was extremely weak as she laughed weakly. She clearly knew that the other party wouldn't kill her, yet she still used such a method to seek death. She wasn't as seductive as she seemed to be. Who would have thought that such a beautiful woman would view her body as more important than her life? Chapter 1086. Qin Wentian's immortal sense carried Luo Huan and Qin Yao respectively. His body was trembling slightly. For Immortal Foundation experts, their protective immortal sense would be hidden within their bodies, and would only be activated during the most dangerous moments. They would possess a portion of the combat prowess of an Immortal Foundation expert. However, this immortal sense would exhaust the energy and origin chi of the Immortal Foundation expert, and the rate of consumption wasn't small at all. Those who possessed the immortal sense of an Immortal Foundation expert were usually those closest to the Immortal Foundation expert. Luo Huan and Qin Yao could sense Qin Wentian's immortal sense because they were the closest people to him. And now, both of them had encountered such an unforeseen event. How could Qin Wentian not feel pain? Senior sister, I will ask the Emperor Lord for help. He will definitely be able to treat your injuries. Qin Wentian's immortal sense carried Luo Huan and walked out. His other immortal sense also carried Qin Yao. Qin Yao's injuries weren't too serious, but Luo Huan had to receive treatment as soon as possible. At this moment, the experts of the Immortal Qianbian Gate were all rushing over. Qin Wentian's immortal sense found an immortal king, and he immediately rushed over to the Immortal Qianbian Gate. And at the same time, Qin Wentian's true self appeared in a certain direction. His immortal sense swept out frenziedly, searching for the people who acted against Luo Huan and Qin Yao. Seal this entire space. Qin Wentian roared. A terrifying aura cascaded down from the sky as an incomparably fearsome law might descended, enveloping a radius of 1,000 miles. It was like a golden screen of light, completely sealing this space. There's someone over there. At this moment, an Immortal Foundation expert pointed to a certain direction. Below, there was a person frantically fleeing for his life, appearing extremely flustered. Busy. A group of experts rushed over at the same time, their speed akin to bolts of lightning. The person below was indeed one of the people who acted against Qin Yao. These people seemed to have split up and fled in different directions. Clearly, they knew that if they stayed together, they would be a huge target. Also, the person before them wasn't calm enough. If they were to flee in such a panic, they would be discovered easily. However, under such circumstances it was hard not to panic. Very swiftly, numerous figures descended from the sky, surrounding that person. In an instant, that person's countenance turned ashen. When Luo Huan's immortal sense appeared, they already knew that things were going to be bad. And as expected, they were surrounded. Qin Wentian's body descended from the sky, and a terrifying killing intent swept out. He stared at his opponent, and his whole body was filled with an icy aura. He said coldly, "Who sent you here?" There were a few Immortal Foundation experts in the Cloud Prefecture city, looking for opportunities to act against his kin. Qin Wentian couldn't believe that they came here on their own. Clearly, there was a power behind them, and there was an 80 to 90% chance that they were from the Dongshangshan Gate. The other party stared at Qin Wentian, and there was a hint of demonic feeling in his eyes. At this moment, Qin Wentian had an illusion that he was about to be transported to another dimension and fall into it. With a flash of light, the other party suddenly launched an attack towards Qin Wentian, courting death. A dazzling light erupted forth from Qin Wentian as a fearsome might gushed forth. Without the other party's control, the experts in the surroundings all acted, unleashing terrifying attacks. The moment the other party arrived before Qin Wentian, he coughed out blood unceasingly. There were so many experts around him, and the tyrannical might of their attacks seeped into his body. Qin Wentian took a few steps forward, staring at his opponent's eyes. His palm landed on his opponent's chest, and in an instant, a fearsome destructive might gushed into his opponent's body. "Arr!" That person screamed in agony. "Just kill me. Do you want to die so easily?" Qin Wentian's countenance was ice cold. A fearsome destructive might directly blasted into his opponent's immortal foundation, causing the other party to scream in agony. "Speak, whose orders are you listening to?" Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with a terrifying light. "So what if you know? Qin Wentian, you have offended His Majesty and you still want to live?" A look of madness appeared on that person's face as he spoke. "Qin Wentian, dealing with you is an order from my master. As long as I can capture you, it would be considered a great merit. In the future you can just wait to be hunted down. As for whose orders are I listening to, it's none other than my master, the Dream Demon King." Boom! Qin Wentian's palm slammed down once more. Cracking sounds rang out as that person screamed in agony. More and more cracks appeared on his immortal foundation until it finally shattered, completely destroyed. A fearsome sword qi gushed forth from Qin Wentian's palm, ravaging the body of that person. In just a short instant, that person limply laid on the ground. All the meridians in his body were destroyed, and his Yuanfu was destroyed. He had already become a cripple, unable to move at all. "Since you like the Cloud Prefecture so much, you can just stay here in the future." Qin Wentian turned and soared through the air. This person had almost humiliated Qin Yao. How could Qin Wentian kill him so easily? He wanted to cripple this person and make him stay in the Cloud Prefecture. Even if he wanted to leave, he wouldn't be able to leave unless he decided to commit suicide. Dream Demon King. Qin Wentian's eyes turned to the horizons as his killing intent surged forth. He naturally remembered the Dream Demon King. Back then when he participated in the 100-year Immortal Banquet at the Dongshangshan Gate, the Dream Demon King was one of the tests. The Dream Demon King allowed him to enter the dreamscape of the Dream Demon King, prying into his secrets. It was extremely dangerous. Although the Dream Demon King seemed to be sleeping, he actually had the ability to kill without anyone noticing. These people in the Cloud Prefecture were actually the disciples of the Dream Demon King. No wonder they had the ability to bewitch others, causing Qin Yao and Luo Huan to listen to their commands. If it wasn't for the fact that little rascal wasn't under their control, the consequences would truly be unimaginable. In the past, among the subordinates of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, the one Qin Wentian hated the most should be the Deep Flame Immortal King. After that, the Deep Flame Immortal King died in the hands of the White-Robed Immortal King, Bai Wuya. And now the Dream Demon King has successfully replaced the Deep Flame Immortal King's position, becoming an Immortal King character that Qin Wentian wanted to get rid of. Sadly, in front of an Immortal King, his strength was still too weak. "Young Lord Qin over there." At this moment, someone called out to Qin Wentian. In another direction, another person was captured. Qin Wentian sped over and discovered that it was none other than the person who made a move against Luo Huan, causing her to commit suicide. Right now, that person was already heavily injured and was lying weakly on the ground. He stared at Qin Wentian with rage in his eyes. It was precisely because of Qin Wentian's immortal sense that his doomsday had arrived. He doesn't even have the strength to commit suicide. Qin Wentian's voice was so cold that it could pierce one's bones. Yes. The people in the surroundings obeyed. Amidst the screams of agony, the immortal foundation of that person was crippled. His meridians were severed and both his arms were crippled. Qin Wentian departed with an emotionless face. Regardless of who it was, since they dared to do such a thing to his loved ones, he would definitely make that person pay the most painful price. In the air there were many experts. The experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate were still searching for that person. Young Lord Qin, there's still one person we haven't found. He should be hiding somewhere. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we have to find him. Qin Wentian's voice was ice cold. The person they haven't found was none other than that senior brother of theirs. His cultivation base was the highest, and he was also the one who acted against Qin Yao and Luo Huan in the tea house. The experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate started to do a carpet search. In this sealed area, even if the other party had a treasure that could block out immortal sense, he wouldn't be able to escape. However, even after a long time, the entire area had been searched thoroughly, but they still couldn't find the person. Qin Wentian furrowed his brows. Is there a possibility that he changed his appearance? Ordinary disguise techniques wouldn't be able to escape the detection of immortal sense. In addition, we didn't find any treasures that could block out immortal sense. Someone replied, maybe earlier. The other party used a treasure that could traverse through space to escape from this space. He wanted to separate from his companions, so that it would be easier for him to escape alone. Maybe. Qin Wentian's expression was still as cold as ever. Everyone, please continue to work hard. Young Lord Qin is too polite. This matter happened in the Cloud Prefecture city. Even if young Lord Qin didn't say anything, we would still do our best to search for him. Someone replied. All the experts began to expand the search radius of the Cloud Prefecture city. However, after an entire day, they still couldn't find anyone. In the vast Cloud Prefecture city, if a person intentionally wanted to hide, it would be extremely difficult to find them. Naturally, everyone understood that the other party must not be having a good time now. He must be hiding in fear and trepidation. If he was the slightest bit careless and was captured, only death would await him. It was impossible for the Cloud Prefecture city to restrict the airspace forever. Qin Wentian also understood that since they couldn't find him on the first day, it would be even more difficult to find him later on. Qin Wentian first returned to the immortal Qianbian Gate. In the Monarch Palace, the Emperor of Qianbian brought Luo Huan and Qin Yao along as they appeared before Qin Wentian. Upon seeing his senior sister Luo Huan smiling at him, a radiant smile also appeared in Qin Wentian's eyes. Your senior sister's injuries are slightly more serious. Luckily, her cultivation base is still weak and it isn't too hard to save her. I've already helped her reconstruct her meridians. As for your sister, there aren't any major problems. Emperor of Qianbian spoke. Many thanks, Emperor of Qianbian. Qin Wentian bowed to the Emperor of Qianbian, feeling extremely grateful. Outsiders might think that the Emperor of Qianbian was his master, but he himself understood that the Emperor of Qianbian had no relationship with him. Since the Emperor of Qianbian was willing to help him, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't feel that it was a given. He was filled with gratitude in his heart. No worries. Emperor of Qianbian shook his head. Senior sister, Sister Qin Yao. Qin Wentian walked to the front of Luo Huan and Qin Yao, feeling as though he was about to cry tears of joy. Luckily, they were fine or he would definitely feel guilty. Little brat, your senior sister didn't even lose a piece of flesh. What are you looking at? Luo Huan giggled as cheerful as ever. You will know after a hug. Qin Wentian hugged Luo Huan and Qin Yao. The two of them rolled their eyes, but their beautiful eyes were filled with smiles. All right, the Emperor of Qianbian is here. Qin Yao spoke in a low voice. Qin Wentian released the two of them, only to see Luo Huan and Qin Yao bowing to the Emperor of Qianbian. Emperor of Qianbian, we are eternally grateful for your life-saving grace. The Emperor of Qianbian waved his hands. As he stared at Qin Wentian, although nothing happened this time around, You have to be more careful in the future. I'm sure you understand that as long as the Dongshangshan Gate isn't destroyed, something like this might happen again. Qin Wentian nodded his head, hating himself for being too weak. Emperor of Qianbian, I wish to head to the front lines. Qin Wentian spoke, his words causing the eyes of the Emperor of Qianbian to flicker. The Dongshangshan Gate has a total of 7 prefectures, while my immortal Qianbian Gate has a total of 6 prefectures. During these few years, there have been countless wars, and the main reason for the war is at the border of the 13 prefectures. That place is extremely dangerous. Do you really want to go there? Qin Wentian nodded. He could temper himself on the battlefield.